It is Happy Groundhog's Day. They say the guy who saw his shadow, he did not see a shadow. So what does that mean? Early spring. It's supposed to be 71 degrees today, so I guess so. We have a quorum here. We have 6 CBC. And I would like to call this meeting to order. It is 10 a.m. So I call upon our Secretary Treasurer. Could you please, sir, do a roll call?
William Nelson, Chairman.
Here.
Lenora Parker, Vice Chair. Robert Tippett County Secretary Treasurer here. Jonathan Polway, Committee Number 1.
He is here, but not in the room.
Eddie Odyssey.
Here.
Ronald Redout.
Here.
Clyde Narcomy.
Here.
With him in the room and in the place, we have quorum.
Okay. We have some elders here, and I sure would like to call upon Lorraine Bowen. If you could, Lorraine, could you offer up a prayer this morning? Do know our Comanche Nation will be getting a nice little check coming up, and just think about those little guys that might get new clothes, new shoes, maybe mama and daddy can update their car, things like that. And those folks in mourning, we can think upon them also. So Miss Bowen, Lorraine Kowina Bowen, could you please offer up a prayer for us?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for what you've done for us and what you had done for us. We meet together this morning for our Comanche Nation. We pray that you will be with each of our CBC members. We pray that you will be with each of our Comanche members, Lord. We thank you for what you've blessed us with, this check that we have coming. Everybody's looking forward to that. We thank you for that, that they were able to find that they're passing it on to us members. And pray that you will bless this meeting, that we will have a good meeting and good about everybody, Lord. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lorraine. We do have some minutes from is our special meeting in here also? Okay. All right. We did have our meeting in January, which was January 5th. And Business Committee, if we could review the minutes. During that meeting, we had to do a review of an enrollment, and we finally got that done. While the Business Committee is looking at these items from January 5th, is our head judge, Lisa Otopovi, here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hi, Lisa. Okay. An executive session will be calling upon you.
Thank you.
And right at 12:30, hopefully, we'll have Kim Furr and Associates, Kim Furr, CPA, and Bobby Salpetti, and Dr. Cornell Pee Wee Wardy. He'll be coming forward in executive session. Farley, is the doctor on his way?
We'll be here in Washington.
Washington?
Yeah.
Somebody going to speak upon his behalf, do you know?
Yes.
And who would that be?
That's going to be Phyllis Narcomy and his representative that's involved with this charter school.
Would that be Mr. Gover?
Yes.
And today, when our vice chair does get here, there is still a changing of the signatory authority. And in our Constitution, we are our duties are to have subcommittees, which we do have. we'll do the changing of that on subcommittees also. Also, for the last 2 weeks, I'd like to recognize one person that's never recognized. Denise Carty, could you please stand up? Everybody in our Comanche Nation, this is Denise Carty. She is our compliance director. Well, I wouldn't even say it. She's just Miss Compliance. And I really do thank her for our budget. And when we go to our budget, a lot of things are not answered. And Denise this year answered many things for our budget. Our budget will be to the penny. And we will follow the guidelines through HHS, IHS, BIA. Who else, Denise?
That's about it.
That's about it. We always get American taxpayers' money due to our treaties we made with the United States. We'll continue that process. And also gaming distribution, which is discretionary. So this year, the 2020 budget that's going to come forward is spot on. Thank you, Denise. But can everybody give her a hand clap? She does a lot of good work. She's kind of ashamed, but at the same time, the person that got us off high risk, once again, Denise Carter. Thank you, Denise. She lives in Cheyenne country. It's good she made it all the way down here. Thank you. Also today, I'd like to recognize somebody. This gentleman is an organizational guru. In quick order, without being paid, he went to our gaming establishments, put a hierarchy together, talked to the people, looked at the organizational core, the matrix of the organizational structure, and showed us all deficiencies and great advantages of what we're going to go to. Everybody, I'd like for everybody to recognize Mr. Stephen Grogan. If you could please stand up, sir.
Are you going?
This is him.
Are you going to Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go to that.
Our Comanches, they run our casinos. Our Star Casino in Walters is Comanche. Our Red River Casino is Comanche. Our Lawton Casino is Comanche. And our Spur Casino is Comanche. And they've been a working group, and they've worked really, really well together in the last 6 months. And with Mr. Grogan, I believe this continuity of a great working group is something new, something that we need as Comanches, because when you're a Comanche, when you're Numina and you're working for Comanches and you have children that are Comanche, you can't get any more vested than that. You cannot be more vested than that. And before we approve the minutes, I'd like to recognize our new TA, Mr. John David Wanee. Could you please stand up? The last 2 weeks, Mr. Wanee has, did you bring your organizational chart? Okay. Never done before. He has showed us everything of how this organization as a government is put together. Who's there, what they do, their job description, in quick order in 2 weeks. I haven't seen this much structure since I was with World Tire Group. So thank you, John David. A lot different. I'd like to recognize our Lady Vice Chair, Lenora. She's here for the record. So with that said, could I please have someone entertain a motion to approve the minutes from January 5th?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make this comment on the minute.
Sure.
I know we gave a recognition to our outgoing vice chair,
Yes.
and that isn't in here in the minutes.
Okay.
I'd like to see that placed in the minutes.
Okay. Wonder why it was not put in there.
I don't know.
Okay. Is there any way I could ask your company to find why that was off the record? And if you could get it to Julia, if you have to find, because that did happen.
I can email them Monday morning,
Okay,
docs and court reporting.
all right.
Thank you.
Does that satisfy you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And with that, I recommend approval of the minutes.
Got a motion?
With that addition.
Okay. Motion to approve the minutes with us to do a correction to the minutes.
I second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Seconded by Mr. Clyde. All those in favor to approve the minutes with the addition and correction, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. All right. If the business committee doesn't mind, Angela, you added some new program guidelines?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do y'all mind if we go on ahead and hear hers first before we go to enrollment? Go right ahead, Angela.
Yes, sir. When I presented the program guidelines for WIOA at the December 5th meeting, I left out two guidelines. One was for CNG funding for employability enhancement, and one was for federal funding for summer youth. I just forgot those. And then the other federal ones that you all approved, I just updated them to the new poverty guidelines, which were released January 11th.
Okay. And Miss Denise, have you gotten this changeover?
Yeah, we discussed it.
Okay, very good.
It's fine.
I'll go right to that. That's resolution number 20-19, Business Committee, right behind enrollment. Because that was on the minutes of what we approved, I believe,
Yes,
in December.
Yes, December 5th.
So we do this attachment, then it's solidified, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay, thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
All right. And resolution number 2019 reads as this. It is to approve the updated Comanche Nation WIOA program guidelines. Whereas the Comanche Nation is a federally recognized Indian tribe with a constitution approved by the Secretary of the Interior on January 9th, 1967, to safeguard tribal rights, powers, and privileges to improve the economic, moral, educational, and health status of its members. And whereas the Comanche Nation Constitution does establish the CBC as a duly elected official body designated to conduct this business for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation. Whereas the WIOA program updated the written program eligibility guidelines for both federal and CNG funded services. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Nation Business Committee hereby approves the attached updated WIOA program guidelines effective this Groundhog Day, February 2nd, 2019. Business Committee, as you can see, she did put in there the classroom training program, the employability enhancement program, on the job training program, supported services program, the work experience program, summer youth employment program guidelines. Once again, back to the employability enhancement program. And that covers it, and it will be a closed book for good policy and direction of this program. Questions?
This now includes the two that you,
Yes, sir.
okay.
That's what I added to this week for you all to approve. I just forgot them in the December meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Well,
For us to approve this resolution, I need the CBC to move to a motion for continuance.
I'll make that motion.
I second it.
All right. All righty. All right. All those in favor on resolution number 20-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right. And Amber, we're going right to our enrollment. Back to resolution number 18-19. While we're doing this, I'd like to recognize our new attorney from Rosette LLP. Could you please stand, Jonathan Sanchez? Okay. All right. I'm gonna kind of brag around on them for a little bit. In 2 days, they got our liquor license done. Man, that's pretty good. All right, resolution number 1819. Whereas the list includes the names of applicants who have been verified as eligible pursuant to Article 3, Section 1C, membership of the Constitution of the Comanche Nation. Our Constitution states, all descendants of allottees eligible for membership under the provision of Section 1A of this article having an 8th or more degree of Comanche Indian blood. Now therefore be it resolved, the CBC accept the verification of eligibility for the applicants as shown on list 1114. Be it further resolved that the Comanche Nation Enrollment Office notify the eligible applicant by letter of their approved membership, and further that the enrolled member be provided information concerning their enrollment, including their name, their date of birth, their roll number, their social security number, and their degree of Comanche blood. Business Committee, we have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. One from New Mexico, one from Ohio, one from Texas. So I present resolution number 18-19. I need someone to entertain a motion for
I
continuance.
make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Mr. Clyde Narcomi. Need a second?
I second it.
And seconded by our Vice Chair. All those in agreement on resolution number 18-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All righty.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just a quick note here. Out of the 14,
Yes, sir.
there's 9 of them that were 1/8.
I see one, that's almost half. I like that. All right. Lady Vice Chair, do you mind reading out our new members?
I surely don't mind. Alan, Casey, Lynn, Bennett, I forgot my glasses.
Oh, really?
Bennett, Zana, Lynn, Clinton, Lucy Lynn, Gonzalez, Naya, Gabriel, Hughes, Bradley, Blakely, Ruth, Jackson, Kelsey, Nicole, Lorenzana, Selena, Maria. Now this next one, I don't know.
Peshlikai.
Peshlakai, Cameron, Sain, Sour, Jack, Quana, Shipley, Arthur, Alexander, Shipley, Marley, Leslie, Sovo, Levi, Jean, Swinke, Malaya, Jean, Thomas, Kay, Shane. Our new members.
Let's recognize them. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Everybody, there's some seats up here if y'all want to have a seat. Thanks, Donnie. All right. All right.
This is a second. It took so long.
Do we have any relinquishments at all?
It might be adopted.
We have people that are relinquishing to us.
Oh, really? Okay. All right, let's go through the agenda. We have an Elder Center grant application. And who is here for that? Is that you? Well, hello. Introduce yourself and tell us all about it.
My name is Marilyn Guerrero, I work with the Comanche Nation Elder Center, and I'm introducing resolution for the needs assessment. The needs assessment is a 3-year application this time, and that will be due in December of next year, or this year. And I'm gonna have a needs assessment. It comes with interviews for the elders, and I applied for it and got the surveys back in January the 7th, and I have to do 350 surveys.
Wow. How far have you got on that?
Well, I
Marilyn?
can't do it until I get the resolution
Okay.
approved.
So shall I make an announcement now? Elders over what age?
60.
Elders over 60, this director of our Elder Center needs some surveys done.
And I did get the census already.
Great.
So I went online about that.
Great, great,
So I can apply and use that.
great.
And get more money for the day.
Good. That brings me to a question, Marilyn. Our last census we had, we went together as KCA. I don't think we should do that anymore. We should go as Comanche only. What do you think?
Well, I think if I get more in the census for the areas we service, we can get more money on our federal.
Well, off the record, there sure are a lot of Choctaw tags. Anyway, all right, very good, very good. Okay, resolution number 1919. Whereas long-term care, a category that includes promotion, home health services, personal care, housekeeping assistance, meals on wheels, skilled nursing care, assisted living, and other in-home services, is an emerging, unmet need in Indian country. You are correct. And whereas the North Dakota, Alaska, and Hawaii National Resource Centers on Native Aging have been awarding grants through the Administration on Aging, Department of Health, and Social Needs of American Indian, Alaska Native, and Native Hawaiian elderly, and assist these groups in conducting a needs assessment, which is requirement for their ACL grant. Whereas the needs assessment is designed to yield information on the following Native elder health care needs. There is general health, activities of daily living, screening, visual, hearing, and dental, memory and disability, health care access, tobacco and alcohol use, nutrition, exercise and excess weight, social support, housing, social functioning, demographics. In addition to providing technical assistance, the grant to the North Dakota, Alaska, and Hawaii Resource Centers on Native Aging is required by the Older American Act to perform research and disseminate the results of the research. Whereas this North Dakota, Alaska, and Hawaii National Resource Centers on Native Aging are asking tribes throughout the nation to volunteer to participate in a partnership arrangement to identify the needs of American Indian and Alaska Native elders nationwide, in which the resource centers and the tribe or consortium will each assume responsibilities. What the resource center will provide: a needs assessment instruments, assistance in sampling, training of interviewers, consultation with interviewers via email or telephone, date entry and analysis, data storage on a secure server, production of tables and comparisons with national statistics. And what each tribe consortium will provide: we will provide a list of elders to interview, interviewers or volunteers to conduct the survey, interpretation of the results with local input, development of recommendations for actions, dissemination of the results to tribal leaders and health officials. Whereas summary information from your needs assessment, along with the national comparison report from all needs assessments, will be returned to the governing council and to the local contact person. Who would that local contact person be, Marilyn? Okay, when we come down to it, it does say once we get all this done, that we'll go to a local contact person. Will that be us?
Yes,
Once?
us.
Okay, all right, very good. Okay, the confidentiality. Now this is very critical here. The confidentiality of enrolled members and tribal consortium information is of the utmost importance. Therefore, the information in this needs assessment will be collected anonymously by tribal members with a digital copy of the data stored on a secure server at the UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences for a period of at least 10 years or longer. Paper copies will be retained for 6 months after the cycle ends to ensure accurate data entry, then destroyed. So in that part there, Marilyn, I believe we'll take interviews but not name a name, correct? Very good. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Comanche Nation hereby authorizes participation in the Identifying Our Needs, a survey of elders. That's the name of it. Identifying Our Needs, a survey of elders, Native Elder Social and Health Needs Assessment. The Tribal Council grants permission to the North Dakota, Alaska, and Hawaii I think we got to reword that. It would be an action of elected officials, so it'll be business committee. So after I read this, I would hope somebody pose a motion that we make that correction, ma'am, because this is not an annual meeting with a quorum of our tribal council, who is the boss. Okay. To the North Dakota, Alaska, and Hawaii National Resource Centers on Native Aging to use all collected needs assessment information in aggregate format for the purpose of disseminating state, regional, and national results from analysis of the data. Be it further resolved that the specific information collected within the boundaries of Comanche Nation belongs to Comanche Nation and may not be released in any form to individuals, especially salespeople that'll call you and get a free phone, and the next month you have to pay $300. All right? Agencies or organizations without additional tribal authorization. That is resolution number 1919. If I could ask my colleagues to pose a motion where tribal council should read business committee.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to change the wording of tribal council to Comanche Business Committee on this resolution.
Thank you, ma'am. Need a second on that?
So, just have a question. When we state that, we omit North Dakota, Alaska, and Hawaii, right?
I wouldn't do that omission.
Leave it in?
Yes, that's part of who does it.
So the CBC grants permission to them?
Well, unless you want to take it to the annual meeting.
No.
Okay.
No, but I'm just saying, it seems a question there to me. Anyway.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I second the Vice Chairman's motion.
Okay.
Also, how much is this grant? I don't have the amount.
We don't have the amount until we get that. That will be in April. Sometimes we get it in March.
Okay. For the record, it's done. Okay. Got a second needed for us to continue.
I second.
Seconded for Clyde on this name change. All right. All those in favor to change Lenora's motion to remove tribal council to the Comanche Business Committee. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. All right. We'll make that correction. And Miss Julie, if you could, before we go to attestment. All right. Resolution number 1919 with that wording change is on the table for a motion to continue.
I make the motion approved.
I second.
Okay. Motion made by our Secretary Treasurer and Mr. Narcombe seconded. All those in favor for resolution number 1919, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right. Angela, we got yours approved, so we're all good there. All right. So Angela, if I come over to the Comanche Nation Education Center, the very first thing I'm going to do, what can you do for me? How can I get a job with you? When they get this right here, it's kind of self-explain, you know, it explains itself.
Yes.
I know
So-
what kind of job you can get him.
So do you?
Grasshopper.
Yeah. So they'll get this when they come there, or y'all pick and choose and then consult with them? Is that how that goes?
We don't pick and choose, first of all.
Okay.
Every Comanche who is eligible, we also serve other tribes within our service area. Everyone is eligible, so we don't pick and choose. As long as you apply and meet the qualifications, you will be approved for what service you apply for.
Good.
I know yesterday before I left in the GED services, we have someone from Navajo Nation and Choctaw Nation who is going to apply. And they may not be Comanche tribal members, but they live in our area. So we do assist other tribes as well.
Very good. All right. All you need is a sign up there that says, "We don't pick and choose. We'll help you." All right.
And overall, if that occurs, which it has not occurred since I've been there, I'm the one who's going to sign off anyway. And if there's an issue, I'm going to review it before I sign.
Very good, Angela.
Angela, does that include the grasshopper? Everybody's eligible for the grasshopper?
Well, there's guidelines in there that you all approved in December. Elders are 62 years of age and older, or if you're under the age of 62, 100% disabled, excuse me. The elder has to be the head of the household, and the elder must reside in the home for which the lawn is serviced.
That always puts us in a quagmire when we're going over our budgets for the entire tribe. You know, grasshoppers was never approved by the boss, our annual meeting. So it's always been trying to fit it into a puzzle. So anyway, thank you, ma'am.
I have a question, Angela.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you make sure that no one falls through the cracks? How do you follow up with each client?
It's a requirement. They have to constantly check in with us. So if they don't check in, then we're calling them saying, where have you been? Why haven't you contacted us? What is your status now? So it's the client's responsibility, because when they sign up for workforce, they have to follow up with us. And if we don't hear from them within a week, maybe 2 weeks, then we're calling them saying, where are you?
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty.
Any other questions?
No, and thank you. You
Thank
can
you.
enjoy the rest of your Groundhog Day.
Thank you.
Okay. We got before us a language grant application when it comes to resolution number 21-19. Do we have somebody here as an advocate for this resolution?
I guess that'd be me.
Okay, CBC Red Oak, could you kind of lead us somewhere here?
This resolution was sent to us for the January meeting, but was sidelined. Catherine Pewanofkut Briner is the person that is writing this grant up, and she is also the person that will assume the responsibility of our new language program. And, the resolution is self-explanatory.
Okay.
And it's directly involved with her participation in her doctoral program, which she'll finish up in April or May.
Okay. All righty. Thank you, sir. Whereas the Documenting Endangered Languages program at the National Science Foundation has funds available for doctoral dissertation research improvement grants. Whereas Catherine Pewanofkut is a first-degree descendant of the Comanche Nation as a child of an enrolled Comanche citizen and is currently working on a doctoral degree pertaining to the revitalization of the Comanche language. And whereas all materials for the dissertation and development of the online dictionary learning tool as developed in cooperation with the Comanche Language and Cultural Preservation Committee and the Comanche Language Planning Group will be used for current, ongoing, and future work for the documentation and revitalization of the Comanche language, including but not limited to language workshops at the Comanche Nation Fair and/or Shoshonean language reunion, archive, software apps, texts, and other materials. And whereas all materials from the period of language study will be archived with the Comanche Nation and the Sam Noble Museum of the University of Oklahoma. And whereas all language work will be used for current, ongoing, and future Comanche Nation language actions and plan. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Business Committee does hereby approve this resolution of support for this grant application for the Dissertation Research Improvement Grant of the Documenting Endangered Languages program at the National Science Foundation by Dr. Catherine Pewanofkit Briner. That's a resolution number 2119. I need a motion to continue.
I have another question.
Sure.
Have we, by some action, agreed to archive with the Sam Noble?
No.
Never. We had had a resolution to archive in-house, and those records are gone. What happened there? Nobody has an answer, so.
Well, what's gonna happen to this? How much is this gonna cost
I don't
us?
think OU is gonna disintegrate soon, so it'd be great to have it archived somewhere.
Well, I think it's better to evaluate that one.
In what way, sir?
I do believe we need to archive here at the Nation.
Sir,
Yeah.
we've done that in the past, and it did not
Yeah,
work.
but I think we need to look at it again and upgrade it with this person coming into place. There's ways to do that.
Okay. And while he's saying that, we have found out that there is a need for a record retention building. Today, heaven forbid, and I'm gonna make this statement. Let's say an F5 tornado comes through and destroys everything around here. No lives were lost, but all our records are sitting in Washita or Canadian County. Can the Bureau of Indian Affairs raise up our nation from the dust? That's the question. Mr. Baker, what do you think?
Sounds like a good idea.
Yes, but do you think they could raise up everybody enrolled, their lands, everything? No.
Well, you gotta
No.
remember this, that they ship records to the Archive Center in Kansas, which is underground.
Fort Worth.
No,
Fort
Fort Worth is one place, but there's another place in Kansas
Okay.
where the federal government uses.
Are they up to date?
I can't address that, but I
They're
know
not.
they're doing it currently because they're getting active on their record keeping and it's sent to those places. And if we want a record, certain record, we can call up on that record specific because it's being filed by identification codes and titles.
Are we a sovereign nation?
Yes?
Should we have a record retention safe?
I'm not
house?
saying we shouldn't. I'm just
Okay.
saying that there's some redundancy. You're saying there isn't.
Until we have that foolproof system and building, we need some salvaging. And this is the first attempt. I see no problem with this.
Well, I'd say this too, that you'd be surprised that our previous TA
Yes?
had redundancy.
Where?
Well, we sent it across to other places of digital documentation and location. It's not just on site, so there's an off-site
Could you
location.
explain, we're having a debate here, I can't believe that.
It's not a
Ex-
debate.
Explain
It's not
it
a
to,
debate.
explain it to the Comanche
not a
Nation,
debate.
what is redundancy?
It's not a debate.
What is redundancy?
Okay, it means that we have another location for the same records. We have a primary location and a secondary location. And that's been affected by the tribal administrator. You know, wouldn't you say that, Mr. Looking Glass?
I'm the IT director.
Yeah, but anyway, we've done that, or he's done that in the past, and I think we will continue that. We've learned that you can't have records in one place. You have to have them in an off-site location as well.
What does that have to do with this?
I'm just saying that language would likely be the same way. We're going to store language on-site in some other than one location. I'm sure they will be doing it. I think we're getting more into the understanding that we have to have duplicate records and they have to be off, one site and on another site. And I just want to add the fact, I can't speak that all records are in place because they aren't. But there's also those locations, like I said, you said Fort Worth, yes, as well as the Federal Depository. And those records, and some of the records, I think those in the federal locations are definitely sent there on occasion because they do a lot of record keeping now and ship it off. But anyway, I just have the question, and it raises all of this, I guess, but I feel that the nation really needs to understand if the record on our language is put at Sam Noble, what that is. Because I think our language is proprietary and we have to keep that safeguarded. And I don't mean that once it's out, because I'm sure this new person coming into place is gonna put it in different places. You'll probably get online and be able to see Comanche, just like the Cherokee Nation now. You can pick up and get it online. You can learn their language online. So I'm sure they're gonna do that, so it opens up to the whole world. But it's just that I just feel by separate resolution and discussion, we should look at that second depository of language.
Are you saying we're putting the cart before the horse?
Yes, on the language storage, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Red Oak?
could we amend this resolution by striking Lloyd Noble and at some future date, with this person coming on, can tell us why we should or shouldn't move? I'd make that a motion to strike Lloyd Noble.
Is there a time on this? Is there a time?
A time element? I don't know, but I would say that the time is important for securing the grant.
No, for the grant.
And in the wording of grants, you have to be specific. Did she already put the wording of Sam Noble Museum in it?
I have no idea, but it's up on us to either pass it or not, or I'd say we'd have the authority to amend it.
That's what I'm concerned about, because first off, it says here, has funds available for doctoral dissertation research improvement grants. That's the wording. So we're going down through the wording of the grant. This solidifies the grant. But at the same time, if it's already written and she's got 5 pages, who's written a grant? You've got, Vern, how many pages do you have to write about where it's going to? It's about 5 pages. So, go ahead, John.
I would like to say, I think we need to just pass this resolution and bring another resolution to put our
modify.
records,
Well, that's good logic, to modify, to vote
to
modification.
save it here as well.
That's fair.
I would also like to say, I think it would be a good thing to have Ms. Piwanowski come and answer our questions.
That too. Okay.
Well, you're talking about two things here. You're talking about a grant and you're talking about a dissertation.
Well, look at it.
Doctor's dissertation takes a long time.
Sure.
The grant got a dateline on it.
I get it, yeah.
So what, it should have been brought in here when this came in.
Right.
The grant date should have been on here. It would have helped us understand it a little better. And also,
Have you seen any of this? Okay. Yes.
Sir, I do apologize. I read through the resolution as I did my letterhead and all that with it. If you reread, whereas it says Comanche Nation and the Sam
I get it.
Noble Museum, so it's both locations.
So I'm really
I
with
understand
Johnny.
that.
I'm with Johnny on this due to the fact Johnny is smart. If we need to do a modification, we do a modification. Johnny, pose that motion.
Well, I think we have a motion from Mr. Riddell.
Okay? And I do need a second.
I will second his.
Well, I'll be. All right. All of that debate. Yes, Julian.
Yes.
Parliamentarian, go ahead.
Yes, the Comanche language is already stored at Sam Noble to a certain level. So I think it's a useless argument to say we want to protect proprietary. The point is, all of our citizens need to learn our language.
Amen.
So whatever ensures that should happen.
Julian, next time, just raise your hand and I'll point to you and quit talking up here. Anyway,
I have a question. We can't stop anybody from learning our language.
that's
No.
true.
You know, they got access to everything. Like this doctor doing his dissertation, she's got access to all Comanche language wherever she can find it. That's how she's going to write her dissertation. So really, we can't stop anyone from learning our language.
True.
I'm not making that point to stop from learning the language.
Bob,
I'm
if
just
you're trying
saying
to
where
make
you,
us-
no, just where you located. That's just what I think is
I
important.
get it.
And the reason I say that, I've seen other tribes have debate on locations.
I get it.
And the first thing, it's a mess.
Yes.
Because what you're gonna find out, universities want that. And I understand that, so they'll pull it. You know, University of Colorado's been one.
Right.
And others, but it's just that I think we need to have discussion on it. But anyway,
Very good.
How much is this grant? Anybody know?
we don't know what the grant is.
Yes, I have some information here. It's up to $15,000 a year and 1 or 2 years depending on the funds.
Well, I'm all for grants,
All right. Can you back this up?
but I have a point to make, if you
Oh,
don't
Lord.
mind.
Okay, go ahead,
I
sir.
think Tipicona's idea is kind of interesting, where he wants to have a central location for our language thing. We got 3, 4 language groups around,
No,
but we
only
don't have a
one.
central one.
We've only had one, and our annual meeting approved another one, so we have 2.
That's
That's all
what
we
I'm
have.
talking about. We need to just have one. So we
Well-
can keep all our records in one. Otherwise, this is my record, this is your record, that thing's gonna happen. So need to think about that, language people. That's all I gotta
I've been trying
say.
to get y'all to do this ever since I started teaching the language. How many years? 34 years?
Kaya na super night.
Sa ako na mahani di katanim na mamit siya suwaita na, and I've been adamant about this for a long time. We do need a central location, and all of these little satellite groups that are teaching whatever they want to teach is a whole dog. It screws everything up because you got all these different ones that are doing something different. It needs to be one place. Thank you for saying that.
Hold on. Okay.
And they need elder teachers like you teaching it.
Yes.
Oh.
Ha, suet.
Also, she says it needs to be in by April as an application. Storage at Sam Noble is just a backup. We can ask for it not to be available to the public.
Very good. And I guess that came down from Florida way. That's good. And what you said, Julian, is correct. Could you back us up? Who made the motion, and are we on to a second yet?
I got a question.
I second it, Mr.
Okay,
I have a question.
all right.
Can we put in here to establish a central location?
I think I'll go with Johnny on this and not entertain that, sir, because Johnny is correct. We can always go to modification next month.
Okay.
All right. We do have a motion. We do have a second. We've had a debate. All those in favor for resolution number 2119, please signify by saying aye.
No.
All those opposed, same sign. And for the record, Johnny's idea is correct. If we need to do change, we go to modification. All right. Now we are going to law enforcement MOU with Fort Sill. Vern, what are we doing there?
Fort Sill Police and Comanche Nation Police have worked together for many years, ever since I've been with the department. This is a formalization of it required by Army regulation. Also, it's a good idea to have it formally put in the paper so we understand the guidelines of both. It's been reviewed by the judge staff advocate at Fort Sill, and it does not hinder any of the Bureau of Indian Affairs and Law Enforcement Services contract that we operate under. For example, it allows us to use the Fort Sill range instead of us going out and having to build one for ourselves. It allows us to use their track to train my people how to drive, pursuit driving. In return, they have pieces of equipment which is useful for us. For example, the observation tires that you see at the Comanche Nation Fair. Large group, it gives an elevated way to look at the people that are here. In return, we provide services to them. I have firearms instructors. I have drivers which teach pursuit driving. We don't have the track, but I got the instructors, so we allow their people to be trained by our instructors. Also, the biggest driving thing on this is contingency. The largest school in the Lawton Public School District sits on Fort Sill.
Right.
We are the closest police department to it.
Correct.
Should anything happen there, they want our immediate response. All of my people are trained on how to respond to active shooters and barricading shooters. And so this is, we would do the same thing for Elgin Back when we had Stony Point Elementary School, we responded there if necessary. So this is just a working agreement amongst Fort Sill and Comanche Nation.
All right, Vernon. I do see one right here that will allow them to help us out during the fair. Can you further that?
That's the equipment that we're getting from them.
Oh, the lights and all that good
Yes.
stuff?
Not the lights, the observation towers,
All right.
traffic control signs, those type of things.
Oh, okay. All right. I know we approved this for the last how many years? 8 years?
I came to work in 2000, we had that agreement then,
15 years? 18?
18 years.
All right. If anybody needs to know exactly what this is, I'll pass around the CBC. It's status quo from what we've done in the past, so I'll go ahead and go to resolution number 2219. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Nation reaffirms its law enforcement service commitment to the nation by enhancing its law enforcement activities through Memorandum of Understanding, the MOU, for mutual aid support with the Fort Sill Police, United States Army Garrison, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Therefore, be it further resolved that these agencies have found areas of need and support benefiting both agencies through the attached MOU. This agreement is a clear written policy and procedure to define assistance in time of emergency, contingency, and in day-to-day operations. This agreement is compliant with the National Response Framework, the NRF, Homeland Security Presidential Directive, Law Enforcement Handbook, and the Comanche Nation Law Enforcement Policies and Procedures, Personnel, Funds, and Liability is the responsibility of the individual agency entering into the agreement. That is it. Resolution number 2219 does need a motion to continue.
We'll make another point, no, it's not an argument. The point I would say is, I asked the chief of police, you know, when we make a mutual aid,
Yes,
and this is what this is, then we support each other.
that's correct.
So when I read it, you know, we're gonna go into their range, we're going to their space and have some advantages, which I understand. Your training and your vehicle driving, et cetera. But what will they do out here for us in our locations, in our needs?
We have utilized the Fort Sill EOD on 2 occasions out here with unexploded ordinances. Those are the type of services that we would get from them,
So,
plus equipment from them.
Can you call them up for personnel like you need? We got something going on here. Can you come out and help us?
If there was an emergency out here, I'm sure that they would respond.
If we had an Al-Qaeda attack, more or less, yeah. Something
Also,
like
they would
that.
fight
Zombies
outside
or
the
whatever.
perimeter.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, I see, you know, where they put, you put like the manner that we had at the fair,
Mhm.
observation.
Mhm.
I see that, and you made an additional strong point about these items of
EOD.
discharge or whatever. It seems to me that should be in here, but as an addition to the limited statements made by Fort Sill coming over here and helping us.
Well, we
It
do not
seems to be
want-
very limited.
We do not want to put in a public document the contingency plans of Fort Sill or ours.
Because it would make them
No, I
bound to
understand
it.
that, but I mean, is there some additional language which would extend that they have a responsibility also out here, other than just observation towers and maybe something?
They can come out here because they're federal. And if we're on federal property, they have authority to be there.
Well, I'd like to say we're sovereign.
Yes.
Yeah, we are sovereign.
Now, there are some guidelines which is not allowed under posse comitatus and such, and that they cannot come out and enforce laws out here arbitrarily on us.
I understand
That's
that.
the reason why we have the
Yeah, I understand the laws, but it seems like contributing something. Anyway, I know we have all kinds of equipment out there, you know. Seems like it could be in here, as an example, when they dispose, and they do it so regularly, of things like computers and laptops and property other than big vehicles, that we could be the first to receive something like that. You know, because they have excess property all the time in sales. And the equipment's fairly good.
At one time, we was on the stopper list at Bay Supply, and however, the Bureau of Indian Affairs does not allow that anymore.
But
They want to be the ones with first choice.
But we're sovereign.
I understand.
Anyway, that's just the comments.
Just last comment on this, and we'll go to the vote. Vern, if they proclaim martial law throughout the United States, by this arrangement, are we sequestered to the military within martial law? Do not answer yes.
Martial law and federalization of troops is usually on the state level,
Correct?
and that would fall underneath the Oklahoma National Guard versus Fort Sill. Fort Sill is going to have enough task.
Good. For the record, you know, we shouldn't even really have compacts with the state. We are a nation within a nation, correct?
We shouldn't.
Correct? Jonathan, we are a nation within a nation? Okay. Here we go. Resolution number 2219 has been read. I do need a motion to continue on this.
I make a motion to continue.
Okay, thank you. Could I get a second, please?
I second, Mr. Chairman.
Seconded by Mr. Clyde. All those in favor for resolution number 22-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right. Judge Otopobi, I believe we've got a resolution amending Title I, Section 2.02 of the Comanche Nation Court Code, authorizing the services of special children's court judges. Okay.
That is correct.
All right. Before I read for us to go to the actual approval of this, could you give us a briefing on this,
Sure.
please?
The tribal court team put together our tribal court codes. The tribal court codes specify that we have law-trained judges, which is wonderful. The tribal court team did an excellent job putting our codes together and looking forward to meet the needs of the tribal court. However, we've been in operation for a year now, and what I'm asking is that we make an amendment to the code that would allow a special category of judges, special judges, for the Title IV cases. Those are only the children's court cases, the guardianships, the ability to perform marriages. And I believe that we need to have the ability to appoint judges that may not be law-trained. Part of that is, I believe it's very important that we have somebody in our court that speaks the language. And I'm not going to always have that opportunity to find a law-trained judge that speaks the language. And so I need to be able to expand that to some lay judges that have experience and have a keen understanding of how we raise our tribal children and have the ability to communicate with families on that level. And so that's why I put forward this amendment. On the amendment, that judge will serve on a panel with law-trained judges. So there will always be a law-trained judge serving, but we will have our special judge appearing on that panel with the associate judges. The other judges on the district court are amenable to this and looking forward to the approval as well.
That is great. Also, ma'am, if we were to ever go to a Supreme Court, I believe we should have the common law. The common law is our Constitution. It's only 16 articles, but it's very exact.
Absolutely.
Okay, with that common law, what I would call a traditional court. A traditional court. Why? There's some, I'm so glad we're not judges anymore. We're not prosecutors here anymore. You know, we have a court. So with this said, I'm going to go ahead and read it. But for the record, thank you. All right. Pursuant to Article 6, excuse me.
How many judges are you talking about?
It would be the ability to add a special judge as needed. Could be one, could be two. What's reasonable to meet the needs of our caseload at this time?
Okay. Good enough, Clyde? All right. Whereas pursuant to Article 6, Section 7J of the Comanche Nation Constitution, We are empowered here today in our legal quorum to promulgate and enforce ordinances and codes governing law and order to protect the peace, health, safety, and general welfare on this tribal trust land determined to be within our Comanche tribal jurisdiction. And whereas the CBC has determined that it is in the best interest of the nation to assume full judicial authority within the Comanche Nation jurisdiction, consistent with the status of the Comanche Nation as a sovereign Indian nation, and to that end has authorized certain laws to be adopted as titles of the Comanche Nation court codes. Whereas the Comanche Business Committee has previously approved and authorized Title 1 through 4 of the Comanche Nation court codes to be effective on February 1st, 2018, and to be administered by the Comanche Nation Tribal Court. Whereas the Comanche Business Committee has an authority pursuant to Title 1, Section 1.09 of the Comanche Nation Tribal Court Codes to alter, amend, or repeal any provision of the Act or to add new section to the Act in its discretion. Therefore, be it resolved, the CBC does hereby approve and authorize to be effective on February 2nd, 2019, the attached amendment to the Comanche Nation Tribal Court Codes, Title 1, Section 2.02. Be it further resolved that the Comanche Business Committee authorizes all other action necessary and consistent with the intent of this resolution, and that the Comanche Tribal Administrator is authorized to assist the Comanche Business Committee to undertake all action necessary to see that the intent of this resolution is accomplished. Business Committee Resolution number 23-19 is before us. I need a motion to continue.
I have a question, Chairman.
Sure.
We have a lot of grants and contracts that support our tribal court codes. This is my first time hearing about this amendment for
Yes.
judges.
Yes.
And I don't know, Vern may chime in on this or confirm it, but the Tribal Law and Order Act of 2010 requires tribal courts who adjudicate in special jurisdiction cases to be licensed attorneys. So I don't know if that's going to conflict.
Well, look at the court codes. I've read them. I know 'em.
I can speak to that.
Can I speak to it first?
You may.
Denise, you're correct. And in your compliance
Yes.
effort, you're
And
very
I'm
correct.
on the court team, and this is the first
Yes.
time I ever heard about this
Okay.
amendment.
Well, bottom line is this. We do have a common law. We are tribal council owned. Everything about this court is owned by the tribal council. Then it comes to this. We have a common law, 16 articles of our Comanche Constitution. Who knows better than the common law than elders? Who knows the common law of our Comanche Nation? What got us to an election of 8 months was the common law. So it comes to this. I'll leave it to you after I just made that statement.
It will not affect, we're only talking about Title IV cases. These are the child welfare cases and the guardianships. Those are not Tribal Law and Order Act cases. The lay judges would not be adjudicating anything that would be under the special jurisdiction.
Good, yeah.
They would not be doing domestic violence cases. They would not be handling criminal matters. The only matters are limited that had been in the previous children's court, just the Title IV matters that are guardianships and Indian child welfare matters. This would give us the ability to transform our cases in from the state as well. So it would not affect those parts. The only thing that would be contingent on this would be the tribal state agreement for our Title IV funding, and it would not impose on that.
And I would hope that Denise, Ms. Carty, and Judge, if you guys could get together, and Ms. Mansky, if you could make sure that this section 2.02 will get to Ms. Denise. You guys go to review, if we have to go to modification. I would like to get this
And
approved.
absolutely, it was my oversight, and I apologize for not getting
Okay.
that over to compliance, and I apologize for that, and we'll make sure she gets that.
You good
So
with that,
they're
Denise?
going to be appointed as like special magistrates.
They'd be
That's
like
how they're going
it
to
would be
be.
a special judge position.
Okay.
You good with that, Denise?
And they always serve on the
They
panel
always serve-
with the accredited judge.
They would never serve without a licensed law-trained judge.
Okay.
What was it you said earlier about marriage?
They would have the ability to perform marriages.
Okay.
That's under our code. Because sometimes you may want a native speaker to perform your marriage.
They're in there too.
Yeah. Judge Kiswin, can we get divorces from you?
It's not in Title IV.
I don't approve of
Okay.
Got a question back there.
Go ahead,
You
Vice
have a
Chair.
question.
Question.
Oh, go right ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, I was wondering, does the tribal court recognize common law marriage? Because I know the state of Oklahoma does.
That is a good question. We do not have any codes on point, so we have been utilizing the state of Oklahoma for divorces.
Well, why would you want to do that?
Well, we prefer
This is
not
our
to.
own tribal court, so we should be adjusting to us, how we live as.
Absolutely. We do not have a domestic relations code codified yet in our code. That is within the development that's happening, because that is a priority. For the most part, it is a civil relationship, and so property can be divided just as you would in a divorce. So as far as that's concerned, we are still doing divorces, and for a common law marriage, you can still separate the property, and that would just be handled under a civil action. Did that answer your question?
Well, to a point, my concern is that, say for instance, in which, your companion dies, and you legally, through the state of Oklahoma, you have no right.
Right. There's a probate code being developed and a domestic relations code. So I can probably field your questions a little more tightly in another forum. Be glad to visit with you a little bit later about how those things would apply.
On that, Judge Otopomi, Hazel brings a good question forward. Is there a time that you could, I don't know, arrange a time for questions, maybe here, call upon members that might want to talk to you about our portion?
My regular dockets are on Thursdays.
Yeah.
I usually have a 10 a.m. docket and a 2 p.m. docket. At the close of my docket, I always ask if there are any undocketed matters or any persons seeking the attention of the court. And so that would be the time for anyone that needs the attention of the court, would be to just come up here. You would be on the record. I'm not in a position to give legal advice, but I'll be glad to hear your concerns, and I would be glad to try to assist you as best I can without giving you legal advice.
Right.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So
But there's so many questions, and
absolutely.
we've been, I'm not going to go there. But anyway,
Well,
thank you.
we are trying to get there is a law day that's scheduled for the 12th of February at 5:30 here.
Really?
And I will be here, as well as our tribal prosecutor. We'll be answering questions, talking a little bit more about the court, and then I'll be trying to work with the grandparents raising grandchildren to talk a little more about what the court can offer those persons through our guardianships.
How about the Elders Council? Have you reached out to them?
I have, and
Okay.
I was supposed to go visit with them on a snow day,
Oh,
so I'm hoping to get back on track with that.
great, great. Sounds great.
I have a
Right.
question.
Go right ahead,
Why
sir.
don't you put these things on our website?
Be glad to.
Good.
All right.
I'll make a point to do that.
I got a question also.
All right, go ahead.
While you're standing up. What about wills? Do y'all handle wills?
We do handle the personal property portion of a probate. So our code had to be modified because there were some errors in that regarding real property. We can handle the personal property portion. The real property still has to go through BIA.
If we come to a great, like I had mentioned earlier, I don't know if you know this, Judge, maybe you will. If we had a great record retention area that's, just approved, it's a 4-star record retention area. At that point in time, can we do wills? Because that's what it's all about.
Well,
The Secretary Treasurer is shaking his head. I can hear him shaking his head.
That's not something that we're going to have the ability to do.
Okay.
It's,
Well, it comes to this again. Are we a nation within a nation, or are we just playing around?
we are a nation within a nation, and
Limited sovereignty.
we have,
Don't even
when it
say
comes
that.
to certain agencies, we still have to work through them.
Still have limited sovereignty.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
would like to make a motion to pass Resolution 2319.
Thank you, Lady Vice Chair. I need a second to continue,
Mr. Chair, I'll second that motion.
seconded by CBC Red Elk. All those in favor of resolution number 2319, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right. And on this, Ms. Mansky, if you can make sure that Ms. Denise Carty compliance does get section 2.02. All right.
Shouldn't she see a lot of these resolutions that pertain to our department?
We are
Shouldn't she-
moving forward on
shouldn't she
Comanche
see them?
Nation Resolution Number 24-19, and this is realty. Mr. Baker, can you go on ahead and give us a briefing on this, sir?
United States fee to fee, and this 2419 resolution is the authorization of transferring the title property for the 2506 Southwest C Avenue to the Comanche Nation Housing Authority.
Okay. Right now, they have housing for students. This would add lots 9, 10, and 11, block 12 of the college addition to the city of Lawton. And that is a recorded plat, correct? That's
Yes.
the location, okay? All we're doing now is mowing grass, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Can we lodge some students there? I bet you we can.
I'm sure we can.
All right. Resolution number 24-19, whereas the CBC is the duly elected official body designed to conduct business for and on behalf of the nation today in our legal assembly. Whereas the Comanche Nation has considered the Comanche Nation Housing Authority's need of additional land to improve their housing facilities. Whereas the CBC has determined that it is in the best interest of the nation to transfer title to the Comanche Nation Housing Authority to certain real property described as Lot 9, 10, and 11, Block 12 of the College Edition. Whereas the Comanche Business Committee has considered the circumstances of Housing Authority and has determined the transfer of title to this property to be in the best interest of the Comanche Nation. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Business Committee hereby authorizes the Comanche Nation Chairman, William Nelson Sr., and the Secretary-Treasurer, Robert Tippecanoe, to sign the documents to transfer title of the property described herein to the Comanche Nation Housing Authority. Resolution number 24-19 is before us. We need a motion.
Sir?
Yes.
I know that property row up, if you like me, I'd like to elaborate on that.
Sure.
That area there is, I mean, I like the idea of wanting to go to housing, but I beg upon the council to reconsider that, because that's an area there where there's a lot of recovery meetings. And our tribe has always needed places for those that are coming out of prison or those that are in recovery to have a place to live. I've always envisioned it as a transitional housing area, and I've brought this before to other members before. I think that'd be a good place for prisoner integration or people that are coming out that have no places to go. We have men that have no place to go when there's domestic issues and stuff like that. And I mean, I understand that's a college area. I know there's other places there, but we have no place for older people to be housed when there's need. And I've always wanted it to be the halfway house or the transitional area because it's close to recovery meetings. It's close, easy for access for people to get to and from work. Just putting that out there.
I hear you, Tom.
Or if the tribe has another place where that can be sometime in the future.
Mr. Baker, I wish you brought a thumb drive and give it to these guys to show them, but I want to show everybody. You can't see it from where you're at. Bottom line, right now our Comanche students that are going to Cameron, they're located here. Everybody in that parking lot there are Comanche. This lot is just totally empty. It's just right next to it. Sound like a good thing. I'm listening to Mr. Ramos, and he's correct on that too. But this kind of looks turnkey. I wish you had brought it for them to put it on. But anyway, that's where it's at, guys. Between C Ave and Southwest 25th Street.
I make a motion to approve resolution 24-19.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. And we'll go to resolution number 24-19. All those in favor to approve, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Today, we're going to try to make sure that Miss Lenora Parker will come on as signatory authority. And also in this, we'll go to what we have to do. Tribal officials authorized to conduct business with the special trustee for American Indians. Also, we're going to go into OST, the Office of Special. I can't stand there. I know, right? Anyway, we're taking the past vice chair off and putting our new vice chair on. Also, we were going to go forward also on actual committee served on, and it will be taking Jimmy Arterberry off, put John David Wanee on, taking Susan Cawthorn off, and putting Lenora Parker on. And requesting the BIA Southern Plains Regional Office to base transfer. Okay, here we go. Resolution number 25-19. Whereas the Office of the Special Trustee requires signatories on investment accounts. Now therefore be it resolved, the CBC hereby designates the following authorized signatories: William Nelson, Sr., Lenora Parker, Robert Tippecott, Jonathan Poe, Eddie Odyssey, Ronald Redout, Clyde Narcombe. Business Committee, resolution number 2519, needs to move forward with a motion and a second.
I have a question. Who has signature authority now?
Sir, this is a special trustee. Us as elected officials always have to do this. Now, as far as the banks, that's different, and we'll be going to that. I thought you would know that.
Well, I do, but I just want to make sure that this is not the same.
If you go a few pages back, the original, this is 12717.
Mr. Odyssey, you should know this.
Well, I'm just leery, it might be leading to something else.
If we're updating the OST signatory, I have the new page for all of you to sign. Once this passes, I'm going to pass it through, have everybody sign it.
Can't even be a tribe if you're going to accept this one. All right, resolution number 25-19 is before us. I do need a motion to continue.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Made by Mr. Rideout. Need a second, please? If we don't do this, guys, I'll just shut this down until Mitchell Stevens, our fiduciary trust officer, we got neglect at this table to conduct business. So we need to get this done.
Okay,
Need a second.
This is a tribal official ought to come in with the Office of Special Trustee for American Indians. We did this once before, right?
Every time we make a transition.
I second it. I see here. I second it. I signed it before.
All those in favor for resolution number 25-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we go to resolution number 12717. That's what we did before. You can see it. Okay. Now we go to resolution number 26-19. Whereas that the Comanche Business Committee hereby designates the following authorized signatories: William Nelson Sr., Lenora Parker, Robert Tippecott, Jonathan Poe, Eddie Odyssey, Ronald Redout, Clyde Narcombe, John D. Wanee, Tribal Administrator, to sign verification Indian preference for employment forms. This form 4432, I believe we have a Kiowa legislator here, and form 4432, like when someone comes to your office, they're Kiowa, you sign it. That's what this is. Now therefore be it resolved, the Comanche Business Committee hereby authorizes the above names mentioned to sign BIA 4432 forms.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion made, need a second?
I second.
Second. All those in favor for resolution number 26-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No.
All those in disapproval, same sign. Resolution number 2719. Whereas Article 6, Business Committee, Section 1 states, the Comanche Business Committee shall be composed of 7 members of the Comanche Nation, and whereas the outgoing tribal administrator, Jimmy Arterberry, shall be removed from all signatory authority at all financial institutions that the Comanche Nation has deposits in. Accounts can be referenced by Resolution 6617 attached. Whereas the incoming tribal administrator, John David Walney, shall be added to all signatory authority at all financial institutions that the Comanche Nation and tribal government has deposits in. Accounts can be referenced by Resolution 66-17 attached. Therefore, be it resolved today, the Comanche Nation Business Committee does call for this change of signatory authority immediately. Need a motion to approve resolution number 27-19.
Mr. Chairman, I make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Riddle. Need a second? Seconded by the Secretary Treasurer. All those in favor of resolution number 27-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Comanche Nation Resolution number 28-19. Whereas Article 6, Business Committee, Section 1 states the Comanche Business Committee shall be composed of 7 members of the Comanche Nation, and our Comanche Nation Constitution directs the CBC to be bound by the Comanche Nation purpose and all lawful matters within the Comanche Nation Constitution as it's written. And whereas the outgoing Vice Chairperson, Susan Cothran, no longer serves on any, all committees, boards, commissions, or any capacity as an elected official of the Comanche Nation, and whereas the incoming Vice Chairperson, Lenora Parker, shall serve in the same capacity that Susan Cothran did on any, all committees, boards, commissions, or any capacity as the elected Vice Chairperson of the Comanche Nation, and therefore be it resolved today, the Comanche Nation Business Committee does call for this change of service and authority of such immediately. Need a motion to get this done.
Make the motion.
Mr. Johnny Poway makes that motion. Need a second. Seconded by the Secretary Treasurer. All those in favor of resolution number 28-19, say please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. There you go, Miss Lenora. All right, okay.
There's a question on the floor.
Question on the floor.
Lenora, will you be sitting on the KCA board?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
That would have to come to the CBC, Ms. Hazel. It's not required of a chair, vice, secretary. KCA bylaws say representatives. It could be anybody here. So the CBC moved for Mr. Clyde Narcomi to be on that. They'll probably stay so until the committee moves to whatever they want to do. To clarify your answer.
But he was only put on there because Susan didn't attend the.
She didn't attend 5 meetings, so, yeah. No, she hasn't attended 5 meetings. She was put off about 3 months ago. All right.
I have a
Mr.
question.
Chairman, I have a question. So does that mean that to serve on the KCA board has to be an agreement between all of the
Yeah,
CBC?
wait, like,
Okay.
next month, if you want to do that, Clyde wants to come off, CBC, or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now, it does say, we were talking about swearing in on the house.
yeah,
But the way it is written, she can just go on the house.
sure. Sure, that'll work. That'll be good.
And the same way with tobacco.
Yes, same with tobacco.
I need
Eleanor.
your phone number, remember?
Yeah, y'all have other boards that are not appointed, well, anyway, there are other boards under the tribe, so is Susan on any other board whatsoever?
Not with this pass, ma'am.
Okay, good.
Not with this pass. All right, resolution number 29-19, requesting the BIA Southern Plains Regional Office, SPRO. You know, Romans used to have that on their tattoo, SPRO? Anyway. Southern Plains Regional Office to base transfer the tribal court A18AV01098 TPA funds for fiscal year 2019 forward. And it comes to this, who's bringing us forward on this 93-638? Go right ahead. Go ahead, Denise, bring it forward, ma'am.
Tipper Connie called me yesterday, or he texted Julia, and Julia came into my office and said, the BIA needed a resolution by today so we could draw down our travel court fund. So that's what it is. It's a TPA program now, travel priority allocation.
You know, we got, what, 10 more days? I might try to shut it down again so we can get this in?
No, we're fine with
We're good?
everything.
Okay, all right.
That'll be good through December.
Man, resolution number 29-19. So we are federally recognized and enshrined with the Constitution approved by the Secretary of the Interior on January 9, 1967, to safeguard our tribal rights, powers, and privileges, to improve the economic, moral, educational, and health status of all members. So the tradition of sovereignty of the Comanche Nation since time immemorial long predates the existence of this nation, and it establishes the inherent sovereign powers and rights of the Comanche self-government. Whereas the Comanche Nation Constitution establishes the CBC as the duly elected official body designated to conduct business for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation, and we are in a legal quorum capacity. Whereas the Comanche Nation has a current Public Law 93-638 self-determination contract with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Department of Interior for the tribal court. And now therefore be it resolved that the Business Committee hereby requests the BIA SPRO Tribal Priority Allocation, TPA, funds for the tribal court program under A18AV01098 contract effective September 24th, 18 to December 31st, 2019 to be transferred for fiscal year 2019 forward. That is it. That's our direction. Resolution number 29-19 needs a motion for continuance.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, made by Clyde.
I second it.
By our Vice Chair. All right. All those in favor of resolution number 29-19, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. All right. Resolution number 3019. The Comanche Nation is a federally recognized Indian tribe with the Constitution approved and ratified by the Secretary of the Interior. Whereas the Comanche Constitution, Article 6, Section 7, establishes this legal quorum to conduct business. Whereas the Comanche Business Committee requests the tribal administrator to change the position description of the executive assistant to the CBC to be placed under CBC's supervision. Now therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Business Committee hereby approves and authorizes the change of supervision of the executive assistant to be under the CBC. In a nutshell, this young lady, Miss Mansky, who keeps us all in order, nobody's her boss, but she gets us here and there, will not be underneath the TA, but underneath us, so she can do her job. That's it. Motion to continue.
I make a motion.
Hey, all right.
I'll second it. I'll second it.
And I do need a second.
I'll second it.
All right. Motion made by Secretary Treasurer and second by the Vice Chair. All those in favor for resolution number 30-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Julia, could you please stand up? This young lady's taking us to new heights. Thank you. And when we don't know anything, she'll find an answer. Any new and old business? Everybody. Anybody. Yes, Marion.
I just wanted to thank you all for helping my family. I have 4 in my family that were affected by the government shutdown. And, y'all helped him with some money and some gas, and I just wanna tell y'all, thank y'all for that. And, we don't know if there's gonna be another one, on the 15th, but, whatever they got was for the whole year, right? I mean.
Actually,
whatever they
we'll
got
probably
to
come
help
back
them.
together if this orange guy up there wants to go years and years. Wow. Poor things, Pawnees, they got a soup kitchen kind of thing going on. Cheyennes have put something together. Our folks work for the government. They do,
Yeah.
You would think the state would jump in and help out, but they haven't, That's what kills me.
They got some food stamps, but, that's only that.
Right.
But I just want to thank y'all. I didn't know how long, if it lasts, if it comes about again. Would there be to get some more, or is that for the whole year?
More than likely, we'll come together where, that's hard. With folks losing cars and might lose homes and things like that. Wow.
Now remember,
they're reported to go to work, and then not get paid.
Yeah.
So,
now remember, they can get commodities too.
oh, yeah.
And everything should be on our webpage. We should have put it on our webpage, everything that we can give you. And if it happens again, we'll meet again and decide something else again whenever that happens.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Hey, Geneva, how you doing? What can we do for you?
First of all, I want to say congratulations to, sorry, you're a mess.
All right.
Congratulations to the new CBC and the tribal administrator. I'm here to represent MMIW, Missing and Murdered Women, Indigenous Women, and we have a chapter here in Lawton. Right now we're gearing up for May the 5th, which is National MMIW Awareness Day, and we formed a ballet troupe, and right now we have 8 girls, and possibly we're going to end up with 14 girls. So we have a couple of them here, and what we're asking is that we're doing this, as a community, to educate the community about missing and murdered women.
Geneva, come on up here and bring the young ladies with you. So, just address your Comanche Nation members that are here. This is the first time. I've heard of it, but I haven't really heard of it.
Oh, really? Well, we formed this group. These little girls, they're all over Facebook. You can follow us on Facebook, MMIW Oklahoma. Our problem is that we don't have the funds to rent space. And this space, sometimes we use this place when it's available, and it's not always available, and we only use it one day a week. So right now we've been offered to space at the impact zone. I think that's what it's called. And the only thing, and we really appreciate that. You might let your sister know, Don.
Oh, impact zone?
Come on up here, Desiree. And the only thing about that is the room is real small, very small. It barely holds the girls that we have now, and with us expanding, we're gonna need bigger space. And this was perfect for us, it really was. But it's not always, like I said, it's not always available. And so we're asking if you could waive rental fees for like the college, the former college, and Watch Taker Hall if it's available, for organizations that are out in the community, educating. We're not looking for funding or nothing like that. We just need a place for these girls to practice.
Hey, Geneva, or let me ask granddaughter here, dancing on this, was it pretty good? How about out there at Woodgie? Is that okay? I don't see no problem with this. I want to pose a motion here. Let's let them dance.
I make a motion that they have a space.
Hey, man. Need a second. All those in favor for it, let's have our babies dance, and keep in mind, MMIW is serious. These babies are representing those that don't have a voice. All those in favor for this motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. John David Wanee is your key contact, Geneva. And young ladies, God bless you. God bless you.
I got a question. Geneva, do y'all need some bars put up on the side?
Thank you all for the
Geneva, whenever y'all have a show, invite us, please.
I think our first show here at Marks Baker Hall, April the 14th.
Thank you.
Put on, Kelly.
Thank you. All the computers, thank y'all.
Sir?
Yes.
Who was the one that seconded? I didn't hear.
Clyde.
Thank you.
Question here.
Sure. Hi, Tanisha.
Hi. I'm glad Geneva brought that up. She actually beat me to the question, but I was coming to see if the community centers, Patchy Walters, Watchitaker, and Cash, if they could be available and open for our youth. We have a lot of youth in the community that participate in sports. They participate traveling basketball, traveling volleyball, and other sports. Softball, I believe, is coming up, track, and there's a lot, when they get on these traveling teams, they're not able to go to one district or Cache, they have.
No, Indiana don't even have a place to, they had to use over there by Kahoma,
Exactly.
a lot of things.
So in addition to these girls that are dancing, we have other dance troops, and other youth groups. We have a lot of our Comanche youth that are participating.
Do me a favor, Tanisha, if you could, by the March meeting, could you get with John David and line out each one? Line out each one, because we're going to have supervision, guys. Because at one time, I got to bring this up at Walters. Walters Public School was utilizing our system, our building, for practice. Well, no insurance on these babies, right? Our umbrella has to cover our tribe. These were non-tribal people under a state school system. They got really upset with this. They did. But if a child died, or a coach died, or crippled themselves there, who's liable? The nation. Please get with John David on this, okay? As Comanche Nation members, we're covered. We're sovereign that way. And our umbrella of insurance covers us, so we're good. If you can get with him and bring that forward next month, I don't see no problem with that at all.
They might have to sign a waiver.
On some, yeah.
Some of them might, well, all of them might have to sign a waiver.
So, Coach, the minutes will be provided to you. If you can go over this part and get with Miss Tanisha Burgess, that'd be great. Barring no other thing, I would hope. Yes.
Question.
Yes.
Hazel, then I'd like to speak.
Who?
Hazel, at their end.
Yes, regarding the rental fee for some of the organizations that have activities, can they also be waived? I mean, it is our.
Under John Davis watch in 2 weeks, he did a full organizational chart, full organizational of everybody that's underneath the chart. And Mr. John David went to a new order of business, a $50 rental. $50 rental.
Now remember, if they serve food and stuff, there's a cleanup fee.
Belong to the nation.
There's a cleanup fee whenever you serve food. Isn't there a cleanup fee?
Yes, there is. Well, all it is $50 deposit. You get your deposit back if it's clean, and then it's a $50 rent.
And what's the difference between?
$100, that's a big difference. Half, ma'am, half. Bring it to the annual meeting, say we want all our buildings and we can use them to do anything we want.
Well, if it's for tribal members, why not?
Well, we got this group right here, bringing it forward, real nice. If we have everybody, you know, it's not up to me.
I'm not saying that it should be open for everyone, I'm saying
Well, you
for our
better make
tribal
it
members.
definite. Bring it forward. You're a tribal member, bring it forward.
Well, I think she's referring.
Bring it forward in a written
Sorry,
form to this man here.
I'm referring to, like,
Ma'am,
college.
bring it forward in a written form to this man here. He brings it to us, we pass it here, it's good.
I mean, I'm not in any organization, but I know people that do have meetings and have activities, and they have to put up the money, so I'm just speaking on their behalf.
Okay. We had non-tribal weddings over here. What do we charge them? Nothing? Let them come on in?
No, I didn't say that, I'm just saying tribal members.
Well,
I'm not saying non-tribal.
ma'am,
I'm
it
saying
sounds like you're a
tribal
concerned Comanche citizen. Come to our TA, we'll write it up, we'll go to a vote. Yes.
Thank you, sir. I apologize, I did have the address wrong on that property. It's 17th and D property that I was referring to.
Okay,
So
Donnie.
I apologize to housing and y'all.
Oh, you all right?
But on a different matter, I've been struggling with this dilemma for the last few days. Well, actually, the last 2 years. I know the employees, I'm not an employee, so I don't mind. But since tribal administrator has taken over, he's allowed me to go in and look at my employee file. And I know this has been almost 2 years since I've been an employee of the tribe. And I went in and I looked at my file Friday afternoon. So, because I've been asking for documentation to prove what I was terminated for, which was supposedly violation.
Hey, Donnie, can you come in executive session?
Well, yeah, I'd love to, but I'd love to sit there and bring this out. Now, no, I went in and I looked. There was nothing in my file to document my termination other than hearsay by a director. I've been told for 2 years, I've asked this body to look into it. And finally, I've been given that information, and nothing's there to document that. That is a disservice to me. Y'all are elected for the welfare of our tribal members.
Donnie, do elected hire and fire you?
Do what, sir?
Do elected hire and fire
Y'all are
you?
over the tribal administrator. You are to see that he follows the policy and procedures. And this was before your at-will policy. I went before the Oak Court. I went before the CBC in the executive
Donnie,
session. Have any of you ever
Donnie?
looked at my employee file? And I give you permission to
No,
look at my employee
we don't look
file.
at any employee file.
Well, I'm giving everybody here and out there. I asked this CBC to go in and look at my employee file. I don't have a problem. Mr. Looking Glass has looked at it.
Can we possibly go to executive
I'd
session on
love
this
to, and I'd love to
personal?
bring other members
All right.
that were terminated for that program to that meeting.
You want to do that today, or you want to do it next month?
Oh, let's do it next month.
Okay.
That way I'll bring the other ones that were terminated from that program forward.
Put them on the agenda.
And
let's
have,
put 'em on the agenda.
have the HR director there.
Sure.
Have that director there.
You know, we're promoting out to the entire world, you know, and Donnie.
And I'm not asking for my job
I
back.
get it.
I'm
No,
another tribe.
You're a dynamic person. You're doing a great job for the Wichitas. You did a great job for us.
Well, I'm
And the
still
thing
with
is,
you.
if this is a situational problem, you know, we have been obliged to stay out of all hiring and firing. Yeah,
You know,
we're
it was
kind
my
of-
name. I don't know if any of you have ever been fired from a job. Because be fired from a job seems that I was at fault. And to come to find out that I was not at fault for what I was alleged to do is wrong.
Yes, it is.
You know, to go on unemployment, to have to go look for other employment. You know, it was not just financial, it was personal. You know, on the grounds of defamation of my character, of who I am. And people know me to be in recovery for 20 plus years. And I've worked in this field. And I have never violated anybody's confidentiality unless it was inadvertently with another person in the field. It was never in bad manners. You know, that was my integrity, to be accused of what I was done. I did a good job for the tribe. I was with this tribe for 12 years.
Donnie, it takes a lot of courage to get up and say this. A lot of us have been victimized of things like this over the last 5 decades.
And I hope that,
Everything comes together for good.
and I hope that no employee ever has to go through that
Right.
again. I love looking out here and seeing everybody here today. The majority of them, some of these people are employees.
Right.
They have a voice, and I'm glad that the employees have gotten the voice back.
Sounds good.
Well, you
Not
know,
afraid to speak.
when I first got on, remember I told you, y'all have a right to say something. But somebody passed a rule where they can't say anything.
The
But,
Constitution,
so, remember I told you, call one of the CBC members, so we can direct it.
I have, and I've come to the CBC, and I says, you are the tribal administrator's boss.
Well, I'll say right now, we'll look at it.
You're that tribal administrator's boss. Enforce him to follow the policy that was laid out to you guys.
Donnie, we're gonna put you on the agenda for March, and thank you.
Thank you.
Donnie, all right.
And get and all those people get a copy of their file so we can see it.
I'd like to,
I can't ask for their files, but.
I mean, they can.
I'd like to recognize Wasapi Parker, Mayor Parker,
My name is John Parker.
John Parker.
I have a question. Before my sister even ran for vice chairman, I got on at the rehab here. And the jobs over there, they're in dire need of, natives in the recovery program, which I've been in. And I was willing to step down for my sister, because I know I've seen her whole career from when we were young, what she's done, what she's
John,
done.
I want to give you a hand clap for doing this, sir. That
My sister, I know how she, how she thinks, what her goals are. She wants to help the people. My question right here is, when she was elected, and before they were going to swear her in, that I had to step down. And what got me about the whole thing was that there was 2 other elected officials. One of them I heard had a brother and a son working for the Comanche tribe. And I don't know if they're still working, they probably are. Then another man on the CBC committee has a daughter that's working. So if I had to step down, I think, by God, those other people should have to step down too. Because what's fair is fair. You can talk to our director, Jamie. They want to get native male workers in there that have been in this program, like I've been in this program for 12 years. And it's just like become my passion, this recovery, because I just see all of our people, so many of them are affected by the drugs and the meth and the alcohol and all that. And I was just trying to help our tribe. And it was kind of like a slap in the face, where the Constitution, we looked at it and it's not as specific.
It says government. It does say government.
When I talked to them,
it says tribal government.
A person here at the tribe, they said it hadn't been addressed about the other people's relatives still working. So that's what I'm addressing today.
Let me ask you, John, is Jamie Swanson's program, she gets, well, Denise, her program, it gets all kind of federal funding because of our government, correct? So, our Constitution, now, my uncle, Tuheen, he brought it forward, nobody ever passed it, never passed. About nepotism, we're all related anyway, right? But somebody needs to bring this forward at this annual meeting about nepotism, Unless you're directly over that person. If I'm directly over my son, John David, that can't work. Matua, John David, but I'm not making light of this. That has to change because it's not defined. You have people say, okay, if you're in gaming, you're okay. If you're in housing, you're okay. If you're in tax commission, you're okay. The government is the government. And I think it needs to be redefined. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write it. Unless you're an exact supervisor over your family, that has to be changed. We're just too big now. We got non-num everywhere. Everybody's related. And also, I would hope our people would say this. And you cause what? A raise? Or you cause, or if you cause some other problem with your relative, yeah, then we're going to have problems. But we're so big right now, John, I understand exactly what you're
It's just
saying.
like what they were bringing up about the government shutdown, and then y'all appropriated funds for the people. Well, when I quit getting a check, no one appropriated any funds for me.
Are you, well, sir, we gotta follow our employment guidelines. Did you get approved for unemployment?
I'm in the process.
Okay.
It's real slow over there.
Well, anyway, John, I give you a hand clap on your ethical value. A lot of people wouldn't even done that.
Mr. Nelson, and
Hold on, Donnie. Go ahead, Elder Guzman.
I'm going to follow up on what he said there, because I have wondered about this for a long time myself, about us as Numino. Oh, yeah, no, not Numino. We're all related one way or another.
That's right.
If you look at our family trees, which Ms. Sumner had done for us, Greg and Walters, and we go there every year to visit one another, pretty much everybody in here is a part of that tree. When we look at it, our big picture, because our ancestors, they were married to so many different wives. So we come under all of these different things in Numinoya. So, Mr. Chairman, if you would please do that.
I will. I will.
Plus,
I will.
you know, making sure that that's.
We're too big to live with the 1967 direction. Our forefathers were right. We all used to meet at Fort Salinas School. You know, back then there was only like 5,000. Now we're 17,000.
I have another question too while you're at that situation. Well, when the prior ADA administration was ended, I kept hearing different ones say that you have to have a degree to work for the tribe. You have to have a degree to be a part of the administration, or part of the whatever is going on with their employee status. You have to have a degree. Well, I have to come to the defense of all of us out here that are lay people that have worked all our lives in certain areas of employment, that we have had enough information, enough knowledge about our jobs, and enough will to do these things, that sometimes when you get older, you don't have time for a degree, or sometimes if you're coming up with children, you don't have time to go to college, but you can still work and make yourself employable.
Yes, ma'am.
Without having to go back to school to get a degree in order to get a job.
Yes.
In the tribe is what I'm talking about,
Yes.
not out there. So we do have people out here that have been released from their jobs because they don't have a degree in this last few years, couple of years. And I've had people come to me because I'm a judge, and I keep telling them I can't talk to you about this, because if you come before me in court, I have to recuse myself on matters of this type of situation. But families have been hurt. People have been laid off their jobs, and the families have been hurt because some person said that you had to have a degree, and they have been laid off the jobs out here.
Judge Keeswin won't answer that. We have a Comanche Nation preference that rules over everything. We've got 4 decrees of that. 4 past decrees of Comanche Nation first. Now, the other thing is, to me, an agenda not written. That's just an agenda not written. But that's the answer to it.
Yeah.
Hazel, one last question, and we got to take care of this business at 12:30.
This is in regards to the nepotism.
Yes.
And I strongly believe in it, because you can't tell me that it doesn't affect that director that's over that employee, how they're going to treat that individual.
It's got to be written well, Hazel. It's got to be written really well.
No, it's just the fact that that's what happens. We all know that. It's the plain, simple truth. That supervisor will feel that they can't discipline that employee because their family member is sitting up there. It's the truth. I'm just telling you like it is.
That's why it's got to be written well, Hazel.
Yes, and
It's
it
gotta be
has to be
written well.
an amendment to the Constitution, because it's in the Constitution.
And it's written
The
well.
Constitution is simple. Just like how your son works at the gaming. And do you think that they're gonna touch him or say anything to him, knowing that you sit on these boards? No.
What, $11 an hour security guard that was employed 1 year before I became chairman. Go ahead, Mr. Parker.
It's just a simple question for the compliance officer, Ms. Carter. Do we have any kind of agreement with EEOC, any kind of dealings with that, to protect the employees, or have an avenue for employees to go to? What Mr. Wandi put in place is wonderful, excellent. prior TA should have did something like that. But can you answer that question?
That's an HR, that's the HR question.
I thought it came under compliance, because when I read up on it, it says that any tribe can have that if they choose or not to. So it follows under your department.
No, that's, we have, the employees, you have management systems, HR, procurement, finance, travel. You know, if you have any issues or if you have any questions regarding rights, then you need to go to the HR director on that.
And I hear what you're saying, Mr. Parker. What Denise does, because we get this federal money, we have to do this compliance through that, and you're right on HR. But she's right on you have to go to HR. But if you have no direction in HR, there you go. All right. Can somebody pose a motion for us to get?
Well, I have a comment.
Well, hold on, sir. We have got to get this.
I know, but
here.
I got a comment, and I like to say it. What we're trying to do here is all these problems we hear, we try to fix it. We instructed the TA, all jobs in our Comanche entities be advertised on a computer. That way everybody can see it, because I've been hearing complaints that certain ones get the jobs because nobody else knows about it. So all jobs supposed to be on the computer. And then all jobs have to go through the process. And HR does not pick anybody out. All jobs, the applications come in, all go to the director, and the director decides who wins. See, before, the HR chose 3 people. 10 people might apply, 3 people she picks for interview to get the job. That's no more. Right now, if 10 people apply for a job, all of them go directly to the director, and the director hires them, and they go through the TA approves it. And all people get fired or whatever, we told them to follow the policy, write them up. There's 3-4 stages. Nobody's going to get fired anymore one time. Those days I hope are gone. If you look at the deal now, I think it goes to three stages at least for directors. So the employees need to follow those things. Now the employee's got a complaint, can do the same thing. If an employee's got a complaint about the TA, she can write it, give it to the TA. The TA's gonna look at it. I mean, the director's gonna look at it, and if it's valid or not, even if it's not, it's gonna be given to him. Nothing's gonna go through unless it goes through him, and he's gonna make sure it goes through those steps. So everything they're talking about, hiring and firing, the way it is now, it should be better. But of course, the reason I'm telling you, because I want everybody to know, I want everything put on that computer, so everybody can see everything. That's why we got all these offices on the computer.
That's a great oratory of the plains. Go right ahead, Mr.
That employment application, can it be revised back? I don't think it's fair for everybody to have to do a credit check.
Donnie, please get with the you got a lot of, sound like we got some HR situations coming March. All right.
Mr. Chairman, before we close the subject about employees,
sure.
I want to say thank you to my brother.
Yeah, John.
He made a great contribution to a lot of young men struggling to get sober. He has years and years and years of experience and expertise. Thank you, Johnny, for all of the contributions you made to that program. And the Constitution, I think that amendment on needs to be more specific, and I'll be glad to make a contribution to work on it.
That'll be the vice chair and I, we're going to work on this. We will. We need to bring it to you. Yes, Ms.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the TA, Mr. Wani, for this financial report he put out. It's really
all right. Can somebody pose a motion for us to take a break in our executive session to get some
Got another question.
Oh, go ahead.
I think everybody should say everything they want at a meeting. About time.
I want to thank you, I appreciate y'all for what y'all are doing here, and I'm glad to come to a meeting now. I used to be afraid to come because I had all this hollering and screaming and yelling. This last 2 times that I've come to the meeting, I feel good about it, and I can go out the door feeling good that no one's fussing and arguing and hollering. Thank you. Appreciate you. Mr. Wani, thank you for coming on board. I appreciate
Thank you, Rita. And I gotta give you a hand clap for that. Motion to adjourn for about a 20-minute break, then we do executive session. We got something really important at 12:30. We got an auditor. Oh yeah, speaking of that, all of our audits are great. We're gonna have review. We'll have review on this week, this entire week. So, motion to adjourn, to go to a break, and then to executive.
I make a motion for a break and then go to executive session.
Thank you, ma'am. Second. All right, Johnny. All those in favor to do this, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. And thank you, audience, for being here. What a good meeting. Great meeting. Election policy to be added to the election policy of 2018, Part 600 and Section 602, Secretarial Election. Now therefore be it resolved that the attached secretarial election policy is hereby adopted and promulgated as a law governing the conduct of secretarial elections of the Comanche Nation and shall be effective immediately upon adoption. I would like to make reference to the man that brought this forward. He's gone on to heaven, and what he said was we cannot have a secretarial election unless the tribal council approves it. Resolution number 001-18 is on the table for a motion to continue.
And where is the attachment? The policy attachment?
It's the secretarial election that everybody what everybody voted on the general election.
Well, we say the attached.
Do you have that?
I don't, she didn't send it to me.
Okay, is she
But
still around?
I'm not sure, but she also put the voting numbers from last year.
Okay.
We need it attached, so if I carry it up, I need that attached.
Well, that's good, but
Which says what the language really is.
Well, it says here by a majority vote of 776 for and 527 against. So with that, sir, we are moving this forward.
Well, I see that, but I just want to, see, we have to put the exact wording.
Well, that was a resolution
for the
tribal
Constitution.
council. Sir, this is for us to do what we're supposed to do, which is the duty to get this done.
But are we incorporating in the Constitution?
No, it says here, to be added to the election policy of 2018 part. That's what his resolution was on the tribal council floor.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay. You clear?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'd like to see the policy. I mean, it should be attachment.
Is this 001-18?
Yes, sir.
I'll make the motion, we accept it.
Thank you, Eddie. Need a second? Okay, by Clyde. All those in favor of resolution number 001-18, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We go to 002-18. As defined in the Comanche Constitution in Article 4, Section 1, the supreme governing body of this organization shall be the Comanche Tribal Council, which is defined in Article 5, Section 1. The Tribal Council shall consist of all members of the Comanche Nation who are 18 years of age or older. And whereas the Comanche Constitution, Article 4, Section 7, authorizes this and states the duties, responsibilities, and authority of the Business Committee. Whereas the Comanche Business Committee deems it advisable after formal discussion, review, and approval by referendum vote at large by the Comanche Tribal Council to adopt a bachelor's degree educational requirement for the position of tribal administrator. And now therefore be it resolved, the bachelor's degree educational requirement is hereby adopted, promulgated as a law governing the qualification of tribal administrator candidates of the Comanche Nation, and shall be effective immediately upon adoption by the secretarial election. And this did pass on June 2nd, 2018 by a majority vote of 966 for and 361 against.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mr.
Would you add that language? Adoption by secretarial election on the last.
Well, if we do that, we've got to go back to the next one. We all know what, this is procedural, sir.
I know it, but I just want to be sure.
Sir.
Well, it says it up there at the top. Referendum vote.
So if I ask a question?
The referendum was done when we
It's a
sent it out.
referendum vote, it will still have to go before secretarial election. to change the
Correct.
Constitution. I was just asking for
Correct.
clarification.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Are you good?
Well, they seem to think, I just think it's, go ahead.
You're a voice here, sir.
Yeah, see, the referendum was when we sent it out for everybody to vote.
Yes.
They endorsed it, they said, put it into a secretarial election.
Yes.
That's a separate election.
Yes.
So the way
Well-
it's written, see,
Well, the
reviewed
way-
and approved by referendum vote at large at the Comanche, be adopted, and it says, you know, but
Okay,
it's,
make that, sir, and I agree with you, I concur. If I were you, at the very end upon that, on now therefore be it resolved, and shall be effective immediately upon adoption, right?
Well, the deal is,
By a
that he's talking about two issues here. The referendum vote is effective now.
That's already happened.
Okay, that's effective
That's
now.
done.
I understand
Okay,
that.
now he's talking about, we want to put it in referendum vote with a BIA to
No,
put in the
secretarial
Constitution.
secretary election.
That's two different things here.
Yes,
So this vote here has nothing to do with the BIA voting on the Constitution.
yeah, it does. This is by secretarial.
This is how you carry it.
Where it wasn't clear at, though.
Right,
It
right.
made it sound like it going to effect
Right.
now.
Yeah.
Without going to secretarial.
Yes, that's the way,
Secretary Treasurer,
I wanted
could
to
you
make sure it
please
was secretarial
amend that
election
wording?
first.
just upon the adoption by secretary election.
Is that your?
Yes, yes,
Motion is on the floor by adoption of secretarial election,
by a secretary.
by a secretary.
So it's not going to be effective till after the BIA votes on it?
Need a
Till
second.
we all vote on a
I
secretary
second
election.
it. I second
Well, we
it.
already voted on it on the referendum vote.
Eddie,
You can't put it in the Constitution.
I didn't
just
say
based
it needed to be in the Constitution. It's still in effect because the people passed it.
on- It is, but we have to take
It has
it.
to go before secretarial.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Yes,
If
it
you
does.
want to put it in the Constitution, yes, but it's still effective now as far as Comanche Tribe is
No, it
concerned.
no,
isn't.
it's
No, it
not.
isn't.
That's why you went to court.
No, it isn't.
Anyway,
Well, how come everything we pass, your people pass here, we accept it, and now you say, no, we can't have it till it goes past at the BIA too?
If
Not
it
the
has to do with
BIA.
The Constitution, it has to go before secretarial election.
I know that, but this one here doesn't. What we pass here is our own business. If we want to put in the Constitution, then you need to put, when we vote on something here, you need to say, after this vote here, if it passes, it needs to be put in the referendum vote over there to be effective. We didn't say that. That's what I'm talking about. Now you're saying, after we already voted, hey, we don't want it effective till after they vote on it. Well, the deal is, you people already approved it the way it stood. We didn't say anything about this BIA approving it, put in the Constitution. Now you want to. That's a different issue, is what I'm talking
no,
about.
it's not.
No, it isn't. No,
You're
it
putting the
isn't.
same words in here
No,
and the
it
same
isn't.
thing.
My understanding is things that are brought before general council as a referendum vote, if it's changing the Constitution, it still has to go before secretarial election.
If it's going to
Correct.
change the Constitution.
Correct,
So
correct,
you have qualifications of your tribal administrator already in the Constitution.
correct.
So you have to abide by the Constitution when it comes to electing or
Correct.
hiring
Correct.
a tribal
You're right.
administrator.
You're
So
right.
it has to go before.
I forgot about that. I forgot. We already have requirement for them. So we're changing the requirement, so it has to
Once it
go
passes
there.
secretarial
I understand now.
election,
I understand
becomes-
now.
Okay, let's move.
Okay.
You added that.
You're right, Tip. You're right.
It has to
Tribal
be.
administrator in
No,
We have to do that on every one of
the people
these.
voted on it. The people voted
Yeah,
on
they
it.
don't have to go to
They
secretary
require it.
election.
If it has to deal with the Constitution,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
If it doesn't,
yeah. I missed that. I missed that. So you're gonna have to change all of these, Secretary.
What's going on?
Put down there,
We do have a motion that, sorry, Johnny, I don't.
With the-
Who took back?
with the amendment.
Okay. With the amended wording, say that again for the motion for our transcriptionists.
By, you on the last, upon adoption by a secretary election.
Upon adoption by a secretarial election, that is.
that last one there.
Yes, I got you. Now who seconded that?
And the same one on the other one.
Motion was made by our,
Mr. Tip made the motion.
okay, and seconded by the vice chair. All those in favor to change this wording by a secretarial election, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Now, that's for all three of these, right?
That's why I tried to make initially, and you said no.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I didn't understand. And the same thing has to be done on 3003-18. So this motion here is directed to all three of these.
Okay,
So make your motion again.
hold on. Let's have order. Let's have decorum. We will strike from the record this past motion to be inclusive to 002-18, to 003-18,
001.
and 004-18.
No, 004 is a different thing.
No,
04.
it has secretarial election on it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay, so back to the record. Are you up with this? 002 dash, hold on, sir. 002-18, 003-18, and 004-18. There will be this motion that states, at the end of the, therefore be it resolved, by a secretarial election. Is that your motion, sir? Could I please have a re-second on this motion?
I second it.
Second it. All those in favor for 002,
I'm
sir?
sorry. But we have to have the general counsel approve the election policy.
No, because the problem is, this came at the same day that these other three came. Okay?
It came from the
Anything
council.
forward from this day, sir? Yes.
Okay.
All right. We did have a
Just let it
motion.
be clear.
I got you. I know you. And you're right. 002-18, 003-18, 004-18.
No, 4 doesn't
No,
apply.
4 doesn't go. It's enrollment.
4 goes to the council for a vote.
I believe that was the one that I brought forward.
That's the enrollment.
Yeah, no, that's the one Gabby brought.
So what about the one that I brought
That doesn't
forward
go to
that was passed to the general counsel?
All right, 002, here we go for the record. 002-18, 003-18, and that will be it.
No, 001.
No,
No?
02
for the love of God.
and
All right,
03.
we got a motion, we got a second. All those in favor for these two resolutions to have the worded change of by a secretarial election, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Well, don't we
All
have
those
to,
opposed?
what about
I've
one?
got to move forward on this.
I know, but
sir.
what about
All those
one?
opposed, same sign.
Well, number 1 says the secretary, after the vote here, it goes to secretarial election.
Moving forward. Resolution number 003-18, the Comanche Constitution, Article 4, Section 7, authorizes and states the duties, responsibilities, and authorities of the Business Committee shall include, Section 7B, to determine qualifications of candidates nominated for office, and the Comanche Business Committee deems it advisable after formal discussion, review, and approval by referendum vote at large by the Comanche Tribal Council to adopt an educational requirement for chairman, vice chairman, and secretary-treasurer candidates to hold a minimum of a bachelor's degree in order to qualify as a candidate to run for these positions on the business committee. And now therefore be it resolved, the bachelor's degree educational requirement is hereby adopted and promulgated as the law governing the qualification of chairman, vice chairman, and secretary-treasurer candidates of the Comanche Nation, and shall be effective immediately upon adoption by a secretarial election.
Correct.
Amen.
Need a motion to continue.
Make the motion approved.
Motion to approve? I need a second on that.
Second, I second it.
Seconded by the vice chair. All those in favor on resolution number 003-18, please signify by saying yes
Yes.
or aye. All those opposed, same sign, no or aye. Okay.
Or huh.
Or ha, okay. Last one on these resolutions, guys. It comes to resolution number 004-18, Tribal Council Resolution to authorize a comprehensive enrollment audit. The tradition of sovereignty of the Comanche Nation since time immemorial, which long predates the existence of the United States, establishes the inherent sovereign powers and right of Comanche self-governance. The authority of the Tribal Council as the supreme governing body is to assign and direct the Comanche Business Committee such additional duties and/or responsibilities which may be assigned to the Business Committee by appropriate resolution approved in Tribal Council Assembly and gone to the referendum vote, as the Constitution does state now. Whereas the Comanche Constitution, Article 4, Section 7A and Section 7J, and authorizes the Comanche Business Committee to establish and maintain the tribal enrollment, to promulgate and enforce ordinances and codes governing law in order to protect the peace, health, safety, and welfare of the nation. The Tribal Council can alter, they can modify, they can change enrollment. All we can do is maintain. They've ordered us to do something here. So, whereas there isn't an immediate need for a comprehensive enrollment audit to be performed. This comprehensive enrollment audit will date back to January 9th, 1967, when the Commissioner of Indian Affairs approved the Comanche Indian Tribe to be a singularly, federally recognized tribe within the United States, which is located on the Kiowa Comanche Apache Reservation. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Tribal Council authorized a comprehensive enrollment audit placed on the referendum vote by the June 2nd general election. And this foregoing resolution was a majority vote of 913 for and 404 against. Resolution number 004-18 is before us. I need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion. Now, this doesn't go to BIA, does it?
No.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
It goes to the voters.
I second.
We already went to the voters.
Well, read what it says here.
Well, it says it already brought by a tribal council.
June 2nd.
So?
Well, you're passing it to have it in election.
Well, why are we electing it, doing it again?
Eddie, this has never been signed off by us, okay? And
Well,
another thing,
that's our fault.
your fault is not understanding the Constitution. The Tribal Council gives you an additional duty, and that's it, an additional duty. It's not for you to go in there and rewrite the Constitution. They give you an additional duty. This is the duty, we're promulgating it, we're getting it ready.
And we're voting on it again. Right?
Well, somebody didn't want to vote on it before.
They voted on it here, he says here, June the 2nd, 2018, by 900 to 400.
Correct.
And then we're gonna say, well, y'all gonna vote on it again.
Sir, we gotta move forward on it.
Well, they already moved forward on it.
Yes, they moved.
They already voted.
Sir, did you not know what they voted on? What did they vote on?
Okay, go ahead.
We had to give this guy back in here, he didn't even have a date. We don't even
Okay.
know if we'll have money for this. At least we're
Okay.
moving to act what our tribal council told us to do. All right. I do need a motion to approve resolution number 004-18.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, need a second?
I second it.
Second, our lady vice chair. All those in favor of resolution number 004-18, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Our next resolution will be a Comanche Business Committee resolution authorizing the appointment of Stephen P. Grogan to serve as CEO of Comanche Nation Entertainment and authorizing the chairman to execute the same. So we go to this. Whereas the Comanche Nation Gaming Ordinance, Section 203D, requires the Comanche Business Committee to appoint the Comanche Nation Entertainment Chief Executive Officer by resolution. And whereas the Comanche Business Committee approves the terms of the attached employment agreement, the list of duties and offer letter as attached collectively as Exhibit A hereto. And now therefore be it resolved, the Comanche Business Committee, as the governing body of the tribe, appoints Stephen P. Grogan to serve as the Chief Executive Officer of Comanche Nation Entertainment and approves the attached employment agreement. And be it now further resolved that the chairman can execute the employment agreement as attached hereto. Business Committee, or better yet, I do need a resolution number on this.
31-19.
31-19 is before us. I need a motion to approve.
I make the motion.
Motion made by our Secretary Treasurer.
I second it.
Seconded by Mr. Clyde. All those in favor on 31-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right.
One more thing.
Hold on. I'm not through, sir.
Okay.
I'm on a roll.
Okay.
We had our election coordinator in here. There's a few things we've got to get done. We did our passage of 4 tribal council resolutions, which is good. Also, if we could somebody entertain a motion for us to pass internal controls of elections? That was what she requested. And to me, internal controls means it's almost like a semi-forensic audit on each election. That's what she proposed to us. And all we have to do is have a motion of action. Could somebody pose that motion?
I make a motion to pass the internal control.
Okay. Need a second?
So moved.
All right. Mr. Rideout, all those in favor on the internal control methodology that she wanted to do, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Also, there was a mission statement, a calendar of 2019 election. Also, there was a purpose. And this will be going out to our voters of the calendar of when they can come and get all their qualifications done and how that's all going to go about. So, Business Committee, if somebody can entertain a motion on the election office of the calendar for election 2019, the purpose and the mission. Could somebody entertain that motion, please?
I make a motion to pass the mission statement and the calendar.
Okay, and I believe there's a purpose too. I don't know, mission statement and purpose to me is the same, but.
Mission statement of purpose and the calendar.
Okay, ma'am. That will be the motion by Ms. Lenora. Need a second to continue. This is just a motion of action to have her pursue on doing this.
I'll second that motion.
Second, that a motion by Mr. Red Oak. All those in favor on the calendar 2019 purpose and mission, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. And Mr. Tippecani, you got the floor, sir, or the table.
Okay, we need to approve the judges, so we need a motion or a motion in this case.
Go right ahead, sir.
To accept. I make the motion that we accept the 2 judges, you know.
Which will be Knight and Simpson.
Yes, Knight and Ralph Simpson.
Okay.
Vincent Knight, Vincent K. Knight, and Ralph Simpson.
It's on the table. I need a second for approval.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mr. Red Oak. All those in favor of this, please signify by saying aye.
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 Donnie?
I like the one judge, I don't like that other judge.
All right, do we need to go a voice vote on this? All right, let me do it again. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed,
Aye.
same sign.
I'll
Okay.
go ahead and accept.
One objection. All right, that does pass.
Yeah, so you need to sign.
Okay. Barring anything else, Can somebody entertain a
I got
motion
these two
to?
motions.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Johnny. Bring it up.
One is, due to the information we got from the election audit, I think we need to do I make a motion that we have a complete investigation of the election along with all the people that sent in their ballot requests and didn't get a ballot. It's just too much that went on that shouldn't be. So that's my motion on one.
Well, let's do one at a time, sir.
Yeah, that's one.
So what are you wanting to do from that, sir?
An investigation on the election.
Okay, and the outcome of the investigation, there's a cause and effect. What do you want to happen?
Was there anything found in what you want to know that, and I think we all agreed in executive session that there should be no Comanches on the election, anything. There's too many partialities going on with having a Comanche person on our election, any part to do with any of our election. I think she could stay there and train somebody for this election. The outsiders brought in. If there's things found out, because it was also a conflict that she notarized ballots. How can the election coordinator notarize the ballots? That's just a big conflict.
No, this one here on this audit, okay, we passed this and that's.
So there's an investigation.
People, we put it
She's
out.
found
Everybody voted on it.
guilty. I mean,
Okay, now, he didn't say the date,
all
the
parties
time, or
are
anything, and that was for us to do. That's our authority to
taken to
CBC.
court, I guess.
He wanted to audit, the people passed it, okay.
For fraud.
Then we're gonna handle it.
Election
Okay.
fraud.
So why do we have to send
That's
it to
your
the
motion?
BIA?
Yes.
Need a second?
Because we're not putting it in the Constitution. Or you can have an audit in it.
Members of the business committee proposing to a candidate to file
Yeah.
a grievance and they'll pay for it?
Why?
Anyway, that's my
The people
motion
already
on the
passed
floor.
State the motion again.
We have a full investigation of the election, and
The
if
people already
any
passed it.
discrepancies are found that
It's for us to
criminal,
determine
then
when
we
and where and how and whatever. That's all, that's what I
Act upon.
interpret it.
act upon.
If he doesn't say the date or anything.
It's past election.
Yes.
So why are we voting again?
Second it.
It's not.
Well, forewarn you
It's
for
gonna go
this
in the
vote.
Constitution.
If
What's
this
gonna go in
happens,
the
are we
Constitution?
ready
Have audit?
to have a continuance of election 2018?
Why not have to?
Well, you don't have to go on there.
Investigation.
If you
for
find
the
that
vote.
many
in the
discrepancies,
Constitution.
I imagine if I was a candidate, I'd file a major protest and take you guys all through court.
But he wanted us to vote on it again. So I don't
Better
understand
look
that.
at your ramifications
Think about
for
that
your
a
vote.
minute.
If it's voter
04,
fraud or
18.
election fraud, then
I guess it's because it's what the resolution calls.
Should act on it.
The
nobody would
resolution
have.
didn't call for anything
any
but
standing
yeah,
in court.
comprehensive enrollment audit.
To be placed.
That we have a new election if
Well,
there's
that's
a,
what they put on it.
I don't know.
So it's-
But anyway, my
He
motion
didn't
and there's
vote,
a
he didn't
second.
do that.
so.
All we had was
Who
just a
seconded?
vote
I'm
by
sorry,
the.
I was, Mr. Tiff?
the
All
tribal
right,
council voted on it.
gentlemen, with that, your election policy in front of you and your constitution in front of you, this motion
Go
is
ahead.
brought forward by Johnny Poway. We got a second, so all those in favor of this motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 I think we need to take a voice vote on this, Mr. Tippecanoe.
Okay. You're not voting, right?
Unless there's a tie.
Okay. Odyssey,
Yes.
Narcome,
Yes, sir.
Tippecanoe, yes. Lenora,
No.
Paul Way,
Yes.
Red Elk.
No, my candidate's won.
Okay, that passes. What was your other motion?
The other motion is that we review the election ordinances and make amendments that are necessary.
Johnny with 3, well, what do we got, 2 months to, I don't know. I'd like to rescind it and start over.
We can do that too, rescind
I have a
it.
question, sir.
Yeah.
With the election ordinance in there, you have qualifications that are not in line with what the Constitution states. So are we going to have an election with the election ordinance as policy as it states, or are we going to have an election as according to our Constitution on the qualifications? Would be my question. Because if we're going to follow the election policy that is in place now, which is not in line with what our Constitution
It's pretty in line. It is.
Not with the qualifications, because in your election policy, you have the
Accountability Act.
Accountability Act, which is invalid according to our Constitution.
Exactly.
We had a court hearing that pretty much stated that we follow our Constitution in accordance with our elections.
So, what are you
It's not
saying?
a bad
What are you
idea to
saying?
have an accountability act, but I think
We
that needs to
should.
go before the people.
Nobody goes to jail for stealing money around here.
Well, until proven guilty.
Yeah,
Until proven guilty.
yeah, I guess, you know.
Well, the
it's
Constitution
America.
says we have the right to make policy and procedures and enrollment and all that.
But we also have a
Okay.
Constitution that states what our qualifications for as a candidate.
That's right.
And the Accountability Act is not in there.
Well, it don't have to be. It has nothing to do with qualifications. It has nothing to do with qualifications.
All y'all were too.
The qualification you're talking about is a bachelor's degree and stuff.
Yeah.
And it has
So
to
that's
be
a different
approved by
thing.
Secretarial election.
That's a
Yeah,
different
I hear what
thing.
you're saying. You're
Yeah,
right.
he's correct.
You're right, Rob. You're
If
right.
we
correct.
follow the Constitution, we do not have, that's why I brought up the question, do we need to vote on the election policy
I know,
to
right?
be in line with our Constitution?
I get
Because
it.
if not, our election policy doesn't have no standing or merit.
Donnie?
That's why we were in
Donnie?
court for all this time.
Yeah, Donnie, there is a judge by the name of Judge Geezy. I bring it up all the time. Is it can tribes, well, here's the Lujan provision. Judge Lujan. Can't tribes follow their governing documents? Can they?
Well, I would hope so.
And he would say, no, you can't. So guess what? I can't rule on this. Judge Geezy, he went even further. He said, don't ever put a policy, an ordinance, or any type of harebrained idea in front of your Constitution. So I'm with you on that.
And, you know, I come to these meetings because I read the Constitution. Y'all think I'm just here to give y'all a hard time, but I've read the
No.
Constitution.
And I'm
I come
glad
to
you're
these
here,
meetings,
sir. I'm glad
And I bring
you're
up
here.
these bills
Yeah.
that we're fixing to
I'm
have
glad
an
you're here,
election.
You're
If we
correct.
go by what's in the election policy that is not in line with our Constitution,
Yeah.
we're looking at another 9-month
To be-
controversy on who's going to be in office.
To be quite honest with you, Donnie, we even talked about the rescinding of the election policy, because that, you know, everybody has their own interpretation. It can't be up for interpretation. And I'm hoping our law firm will look at this in reflection to our Constitution. You are a legal counsel. We never really, well, I'm not going to say that, sir. I can't say that here. But, sir, if you guys could look into it, but it has to be the quorum that says, look into it. Because we can't have this or that. We can't have one trump the other. We can't. Judges are telling us you can't do this. Follow your Constitution. Even for us to have an election, the Constitution prevails. Now, we got a quandary, something capricious, it's out of order, that one member wants to say, well, what do? We're going to find that all this was terribly bad. So what are we going to do? We're just going to escape this next election coming up? And that's why I said, be forewarned. If you do, once again, the court is open up to what? And guess what they're going to rule on? They're going to rule on one thing. We by the Constitution, we, Eddie, Clyde, Robert, Willie, Lenora, Johnny, Mr. Red Elk, we are to qualify candidates and we are to run in an election. There's not one thing in there, sir, about an election coordinator, not a word in there about an election board, not one word in there. One sentence dictates to 17,000 people. And I say, this is the time for us to mature and grow up, that elected people cannot do this. And whatever we do to outsource it has always come awry.
I say do that.
And the
Outsource it.
hypocrisy of it all is for us to question what we were supposed to do in the first place. That's the hypocrisy
But we
of it all.
qualify the candidates as according to our Constitution,
Correct. Very good.
not by what you said, say.
Right.
But by our Constitution, and it doesn't change until we get the vote of the people to change that.
That's right.
Yes.
And I believe that election policy needs to be adopted by the people, by referendum vote, and then to a secretarial election. That way, we're not faced with what we've been through for the last several years.
Yes, sir.
It's time to move on.
And I thank you for being that
When you do
Comanche
this
that's
resolution,
right here telling us
Is it
that.
more on hearsay, or do you have actual evidence, factual evidence, Mr. Poway, that you're gonna present to the investigators, or what?
Anyway, my motion is that we review and amend our election ordinance.
Okay, that's the motion. Need a second. Or if no one wants a second, and everybody wants to go home.
Well, we all know we need to do that, so I second it.
But it's not in line with the Constitution, so how can you amend?
It don't have to
something
be
that's
in
not-
line with the Constitution.
Yes, it does.
The Constitution says we have the right to do these things
All
for
right.
the election.
We'll have
and
order.
things.
Let's have order, guys. We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say your motion again, sir.
That we review and amend the election ordinances with in mind that it follows the Constitution as well, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay,
That's
so
my,
let me make sure, because I'm gonna be typing this Monday morning.
Yes.
So your motion is to review and amend the election ordinance to be in line with our Constitution.
yes, because this man here will make sure it's up.
Got it.
That's the motion, and who was the second on this?
I second it.
Seconded by Mr. Odyssey. All those in favor of doing such an action, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Barring no other questions.
I just had to do it one left. It's that, I know we didn't, it's just a motion that all incoming electees on the CBC, chairman included, go to that annual, the first one that comes up, the Reservation Economic Summit.
In their first year, right, sir?
Yes.
We can't dictate that to nobody, but I think it should be free will, free choice. But if you want to make it some kind of promulgated law.
That's the one in Las Vegas
I
every
wish
year.
it could be a law, because I think everybody needs to go. You know, we have CBC members that refuse to go to any kind of training, and I don't think that's right to not go to any training just because you think it's only to go just to party. That's not the only reason to go to training.
I know this group don't go. Well, nobody parties in this group, but anyway.
This is the summit in Las Vegas, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
know.
know.
Tippecanoe can't fly.
I don't want to go, Tippecanoe likes
Eddie
to
don't
go.
wanna
I don't
go.
want to go anywhere.
Clyde, you want to go?
Yeah, I do, but I can't.
We all got grandkids.
Hey, I say the same thing. I do, but I can't.
Go
These two, your
NCAI,
granddads, they have to.
upcoming summer.
All right, we got
I
a
don't
vote.
think we should make anybody go anywhere.
I think the ones that want to go, let them
Yeah,
go.
let them
I
go.
say, yeah, let them go. Go. That's what I'm getting at. You know, because every time somebody wants to go to one of these, we vote it down and say, no, you don't need to go, because that's the only thing people go there for is to party.
Okay, then make a motion that anybody wants to go to these things, they can.
Well, we have to have case by case.
What it says in the Constitution, it has to be voted on
Newly
here.
elected.
Yeah, it has to be right here. Like I want to go to this meeting and we vote
Hey,
on it.
Vice Chair, what do you think about this?
Well, I think we should go for the education of
But
our-
should it be mandatory?
It shouldn't be mandatory.
Yeah, it
but
shouldn't be mandatory.
None of us are partiers, so if we do go, we're going for the purpose of learning. So
If
if
you're
we choose to
reelected,
go,
go again your first
Yeah.
year after being reelected,
I think it'd be something positive.
because things change in 3-year time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
New laws.
You gotta keep up with what's going on out
I
there.
don't know, our employees, they go everywhere, boy. I don't see what they bring back. I don't get no report.
The whole
Really?
department goes and they take their wives and kids.
Sir, I work for a tribe that if I go on travel, I have to turn in a report.
Good, you got a keen type of tribe like that. We see everybody travel, I don't get not one report back.
It's mandated I turn in.
I was told by one employee, oh, we consider that our vacation.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Johnny, I don't know, is it dying on the floor? Do we have a second?
Okay, my motion is that in your first year of election, if you're elected for a second term, the first year of that term, that you go to the Reservation Economic Summit and bring back dues for the CBC. It's not mandatory, but wish it was, but it's not, so it's your choice to go, but we will allow you to go.
All right, Res is in April. Put me down. If y'all approve me to go, I'll go. I'll give you a great report too.
Hey, last time you went into the, you went into the shot at you, man.
Say something about that.
See, I only went on 2 trips. Got shot once and gaming paid for that. Got to visit with everybody from Zinke all the way to Kaysen at the BIA, and housing paid that one. So, I'm a little leery of travel, but you're right. Sir, if you want to, I don't know, sir, your motion's dying there.
Yeah, if they don't want to accept the motion, then I would encourage y'all to put in the paperwork. It still has to come before us
Sure.
to approve it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that'll work.
Okay. Barring no other questions. Could
Yes.
someone please
I'm done.
entertain a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Lenore. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Red Oak. All those in favor to adjourn this Groundhog Day CBC meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. I feel like that movie is just a goes
The
on.
Groundhog Day.
Over and over.